What is going on, everybody? Welcome to At Week's In Vacation Edition and the Superman spoiler special. We're not going to waste any time. Let's just get right into it. What's going on, Paul?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, you brought popcorn for the show.
I brought popcorn, a big popcorn.
What's on the other side?
But these are all like raised. Like all the crystals and everything are kind of like embossed and raised. Same thing with Superman.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's like a 230-ounce popcorn bucket.
That's an excessive amount of popcorn and a cholesterol issue amount of butter. I'm for it. I got one from the Regal. It didn't have Superman on it. It was like the backside of yours, the Fortress of Crystals, and on the front it has the S, which I was happy with. It came with 2 cups and they're lenticulars.
Nice. Yeah, and you got some shield pillows, right? And you got some.
Yeah, Emma got the pillow, and then the kids got the crypto plushies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going full swag with this movie.
Dude, they're going big for Superman, and we're going to go big tonight. We're talking full spoilers on James Gunn's Superman, the good, the bad, and everything in between. I hope people in the chat feel comfortable. If you didn't like this movie, sound off. If you enjoyed it, sound off. We're only going to attack you a little bit, but it's going to be fun arguing about it. That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about what we loved and argue about what we didn't like, and we're not going to do it by ourselves. As always with the spoiler specials, we got company. We got from the Unchosen Ones podcast, Jay himself.
What's up? How's it going?
Where's your popcorn bucket?
I didn't get one. They didn't have one at like the 2 theaters I went to. They didn't have any Superman popcorn buckets. I don't have like an AMC around me.
I got a question for you. So the Regal I went to for the premiere always has stuff, but the little theater that I went to here on the island, not the bad one, they said they never get any of the merch for anything just because they're such a small theater. But how was the experience for you at the True IMAX? Were both of your screenings at IMAX and one was just the True?
Yeah, no. So the first one we went to was just a multiplex an IMAX screen in a regular multiplex. That one's called a Hookies, Hooky. It's a new one. It just took over this theater near us, and they didn't have any popcorn buckets. The screen was nice, but that was cool. But then when we went,
they just give it to you in a Ziploc.
Yeah, it's a theater that keeps getting taken over by different companies, so they're never like have their shit together. But then we went to the Science Museum down in Fort Lauderdale yesterday. That was like a religious experience watching it on that screen. It was insane. Wow. We enjoyed it even more because we weren't judging it anymore. We knew it was already good, so we went in just relaxed and just took it all in even more than we did the first time, and it was just. Seeing it on that screen, being able to see the full frame that they shot, it was crazy. If you have the opportunity to do it.
Well, that was a perfect segue, crazy. Jay. Talking about relax and taking it all in, we have our last panelist.
Hey-o.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Mark. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I was about to say, Cliff's going to be sad if I don't take that opportunity. There you go. Cliff,
I wouldn't have missed it.
Tell me how many times have you seen it? What'd you watch it on? What format? Where's your bucket?
I saw it. No, to hell with all these overpriced buckets. I saw these prices and I wanted to fire Heat Vision. I was like, I ain't paying $50 for this shit. No way. How many minutes in? 4 minutes in? I apologize. All right. I'm not doing crap, And I was just like, I am here for the movie. And you know what? And obviously I love the movie because it was not cold enough in there. The arm had to come down because this dude next to me and his woman had to watch the movie with all the trimmings, And I was there in a corner in row G like a pimp, just focused on the movie.
It's row G is the one.
It is.
That's the one in our IMAX. That's actually where we sat last night. I remember G was center in the one here on the island, not the bad one.
I was in row G in my IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to know the bad one. I want to know what's going on at the bad one.
Everyone knows what the bad one is. That's why it's important to specify that I'm not on the bad one. The bad one is with the guy who has the list, and we're not allowed to see the list for reasons. So islands are trending these days for very negative reasons. So it's always important to point out that I'm on not the bad one. Oh, dang. Look at that. Kevin saw it today. Best damn movie he's ever freaking seen.
Nice.
So I guess let's just go around the horn. What's going on? Kevin, Superman global box office total run prediction 450 to 550 million. Unless it has legs, we'll see. It'll be interesting. We'll unpack the box office stuff here in a little bit. But around the horn, just where do you rank it, Paul?
I'm gonna give it 9 rings out of 10.
Jay?
I give it a solid A.
Cliff?
I'm going to use everybody's scale. So on my scale, a 5. On the 10 scale, a 10. And on the A scale, an A+. And, and it doesn't have to be a perfect movie to deserve those things in my book.
Okay. Well, I'm giving this one green. Not super green, but Superman 2025 is green. Highly recommend. So that's around the horn. Dude, just out of curiosity, did any of y'all go into this movie with any concerns, preconceived notions, carrying any baggage? Because it's no secret. There's like a massive amount of baggage that a lot of us, myself included, are carrying. Not like willingly necessarily, but we've had a theatrical Superman. We've had this rough DC universe for the past 15 years. We have a mind's eye of who Superman is. So I feel like there's a large hurdle to get over no matter who the next Superman is. Same thing with any character. Whoever plays Iron Man next in the future has a huge hurdle to get over to compete with everyone's expectations of what RDJ has done. But did any of y'all go into this with any kind of baggage or hurdles like that?
I was just concerned about whether the suit was going to work out. And because I was a little concerned about the suit. But it worked. It worked completely, fully, and totally in the context of that movie and the way he, it doesn't do it justice to see it in a still. It really comes to life in the film, and it worked perfectly. I'm sure he's going to get an upgrade at some point as well.
Cliff,
he actually fought for the trunks, too.
Well, they were like losing sleep over the trunks, and then they decided their ultimately decision was, you know what? So what if the trunks are a little goofy, so long as Superman owns it? That was their ultimate decision, Dude,
I don't even know where this concept of the trunks are goofy comes from. I understand we have this New 52 era, so there's like a sliver of fans that started reading comics in that era or first were introduced to Superman through the Snyder era without trunks. That's such a small sliver of stuff. Like no one has ever looked at Superman's trunks and said, hey, I might wear that outfit tomorrow. But also no one has ever looked at Superman with the trunks and said, hey, he looks absolutely stupid and I can't mess with this character because he's wearing trunks. Like that's just not even a thing.
You've lived a charmed life because all my life loving Superman, I've constantly been barraged with, but why does he wear his underwear on the outside?
But are those people that are buying comics? Are those people that, you know what I mean? Like I think there's a separation of the people that care about that aren't the people that care about the comics anyways. It's just
usually, but the people who do care about the comics who shit on me for reading Superman, which was like forever, like all of the 90s, I was like literally one of 3 people buying Superman, unless it was something major like The Wedding, but the rest of the time it was just like me. But whatever. It's neither here nor there. I was happy that the movie managed to surprise me.
Any other hangups outside the trunks for you guys? I'll tell you mine. Like right off the bat, like I was wildly concerned with like the humorous aspect of the trailers and everything. I was wildly concerned with the characters. The number of characters.
That was my number one concern, was too many characters. But I gotta tell you, I went in there with a lot of confidence. You gave me a little fuck. You threw in a fuckboy flex for me too. While your father's watching. Oh my God! Someone paid me $10. So anyhow, I love how I'm squeezed right in between the two of you. So like,
shout out to Roji.
I'm worried about too many characters. Which everybody like worked for what they had to work with. I was worried about Crypto, but Crypto was great. I really, there was nothing to worry about when it came to Lex, Lois, and Clark. Like wonderful. now, of course, from day one, there's just been vomit tickling my throat over Nathan Fillion, right?
I'm right there with you.
And I'm like, well, after all this, the douchebag pulled off being a good douchebag. Good for him. I was pleased with that. And I don't know. I'm waiting for us to move through different phases of the conversation. There's so much I have to say, and I'm trying to stay focused.
Let's go for it. High point of the movie. Let's go for it. I don't have any structure to this. I just wanted to get those out of the way because I knew I would kind of get lost in them.
Well, so the first thing that shocked me was it was like 300 years ago, metahumans, the era of gods and monsters. Boom, right? It's like 30 years ago, Superman arrives. 3 years ago, Superman is Superman. And then, 3 minutes ago, he got his ass handed to him for the first time. And he's in the ice and he's calling the dog. Let's go. And I'm like, we're in the movie.
They threw you right into it.
Yeah, what do y'all think the 300 years ago could possibly be?
Well, they probably did.
That was a David Cornsrud idea because it reminded him of Star Wars. It was the opening crawl.
Yeah.
That's why James Gunn did that.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just letting everyone know that metahumans are not new to the planet. And there's going to be, and he just opened up the whole avenue for Justice Society and all the old Golden Age stuff. So they're going to be able to explore all that.
Well, the JSA, there's a blinking you'll miss it moment where there's a JSA
mural. They're painted on it.
Yeah. So that
Flash is on there, Dr. Fate, everyone.
Big Eric is on there, yeah.
Wildcat. But what do y'all think because it's 300 years ago is the first metahumans arrived here and ushered us into an era of gods and monsters. We know this first phase for the DCU is titled Gods and Monsters, but like DC history wise, canonically, what could be significant about 300 years ago outside of like?
I'm thinking it's got to be the new gods have to
new
show
gods. Yeah, that's all I can think about.
Yeah,
and I've been telling Paul for a long time. Right?
Go ahead.
Now I was going to say me and Paul have speculated on there potentially being a new god presence and part of the detective mystery of the Lantern show. So that kind of pinged in my brain when I saw that. I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
And now,
Wonder Woman would have been around as well, right?
Oh,
Wonder Woman,
right? Mr. Miracle.
Wonder Woman.
300 years prior.
The Amazons, yes,
the Amazons live a goddamn long time.
We're talking about metahumans exposing themselves to humanity 300 years ago. What event would that have been? That's what I'm saying.
1800s. What was going on?
And also, look right here. Dope brought up Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage is way more than 300 years ago.
Yeah, caveman.
But Vandal Savage would spend all that time hiding and restructuring his identity. So like he's got a story for that.
Maybe Wonder Woman helped up with the Revolutionary War or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's what it would be. It'd be the Revolutionary War.
Right. If we go back to when she was forged from clay.
Yes, time out. Even just taking the newest issue of the history of the DC universe that they just put out, we only have the Golden Age era that takes us from the birth of the universe to, and we have the Revolutionary War heroes, and Max Mercury was like the first meta that was known in the Revolutionary War time. So it very well could just be
that could be it.
Hippolyta was the Wonder Woman,
right? But for World War II. And I don't know if Mark Waid is going with the John Byrne version or not, where Hippolyta only becomes Wonder Woman in World War II because she was forced to time travel because her daughter inspired her to be Wonder Woman anyway.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what they're going to do. They're just he's opening it up though. There's so many possibilities.
But just that first sentence before any line of dialogue was spoken, like there's so much you can unpack and speculate about. That's the world building.
And the monsters could be. And I think you might have mentioned this on one of your things too, like the monsters, it's kind of probably earlier than that, but like your medieval type, like Etrigan and Morgan Le Fay and all those types of people.
Well, we have Frankenstein like confirmed. Right. Frankenstein's already in the DCU as well. There's some of your monsters. Mm-hmm. But how did y'all feel about stepping into the movie like that? Like I said it walking out, that this felt like this. I was trying to tell people ahead of time, like go into this expecting part 2, because that's what it genuinely feels like, part 2 of a new Superman movie franchise. But I was okay with it, strangely enough. Like, it took a second to get rolling, but once I was in it, I was in the pocket. Like, when he took flight
was
after
too.
leaving the fortress, I was good.
I was too, because that very first thing I listed through all of those, it felt like one of those, previously in Superman, whatever, like the first page, like a recap page of the stuff that you're supposed to have. Or to me,
Yeah.
it almost kind of felt like a comic book. You were reading that, those things that have all those things, and then
Yeah.
you can start right in with the action, and you don't have to have seen any of those other things because you know what happened.
Yeah, no, we did not need another origin story. Everyone,
Right.
even
Oh, absolutely.
even lightweight Superman fans know like the basic backstory of him. And I think there's a whole lot more to unpack on what happened on Krypton and what type of people they were. And maybe he's saving that more for Supergirl's movie.
I have a feeling when Supergirl gets over whatever it is she needs to get over right now, she's going to tell Clark a little, right. Well, for starters, a hangover, but I feel like she's going to tell Clark a little bit more about Krypton. And I have been theorizing that perhaps Zod forced his parents to make that message.
There's so many possibilities. I don't think it's settled. Why are we all just believing that Lex's linguist people are telling the truth too?
No,
why are we all just believing that?
No, because it wasn't Lex's people. He gave it out to the public to verify it, and
he open sourced it. Mr. Terrific put a stamp on it. Like, yeah. I didn't believe a thing. Like, not one thing. I assumed like, oh, Lex is just manipulating, playing. But then when Mr. Terrific,
but he's referencing those guys. He said, I know those guys.
No,
I know those guys, and they wouldn't.
He released it to the public so the public could verify it themselves.
Yeah,
right?
In a Kryptonian language. How do you know they're interpreting it right? How do you know any of that's
the way
they're translating it?
And also we have to accept that their reality is probably quite capable of doing this, because this reality is a world where metahumans were around for 300 years. They definitely came about differently than we did. So I'll give them the points on that.
I still think there could be some.
The thing with me was that I had a little bit of problem with the fact that was kind of more invincible type of thing, when like Omni-Man and things like that. But I'm okay with it if there's an explanation later on down the road. But also, I think it actually kind of the fact that he could have done all those things on his own at any point because he knew how powerful he was. The fact that he chooses every day not to do
that's what makes him Superman.
That's what makes him Superman.
Right. I've been screaming that forever. It's his choice. That's what makes him who he is.
There's a couple of things that lead me to believe that that's the actual route they're going with Jor-El and Lara, which I think is a crime against the character personally. Like,
it has precedent in the comics. There's precedent for them not being the greatest.
There's been times when they've been like shady and all this and that.
Yeah.
Like, you go back.
They've never been go have a harem. They've never gone down that road.
I think,
which is why I'm saying there might be. It's like Kara might come to him and go, "Oh, that's not what that means. That actually means this." She should be able to shed light on it.
Or she could be like, "Your parents never spoke like this. This is wild." Right. And then it's like, "Oh, interesting." And then there's something else going on.
Yeah, the Mr. Terrific giving it the seal of approval, like, pretty much was the nail in a coffin moment for me. I'm like, I felt
he's only the third smartest guy. I mean, come on.
Well, when he said it, I would argue he's smarter than that. But when he said it, like, I was actually shocked. But then when the way that they played the end of the movie with us, like, we get introduced to him in the fortress, healing, going through things, listening to this message of his parents, but like his character arc in this was that association with like his actual Kansas family. And at the end, when we had the music playing,
that was great.
And dude, like it was that was amazing. So that kind of actually like makes me believe more like that's meant to be how we're going to meet.
If that's the sacrifice we have to make to get a great Superman franchise and a great DCU. If that's the one sacrifice we have to make, I'm making it. That's fine.
I don't know. Like it's like I said, it didn't ruin the movie for me. It didn't take away from it. It was just oh snap, I want to know more. It didn't harm the movie. It just created a plot line that I need explored now.
But also it made a great turning point for Superman. I mean,
it was an important part of the story.
He was distraught, depressed. He was like, "Oh, my life, I believed one thing." Also, Crime Syndicate can still happen. I feel either Crime Syndicate or Bizarro based on Ultraman, because we don't know what happens after he gets sucked into that black hole.
Oh, he's totally becoming Bizarro.
He's
100%.
dead.
But I
He's dead.
also have high hopes that he goes and
He got
forms
sucked
Crime
into a
Syndicate.
black hole.
He's dead.
That would be a
Yeah. No, the black hole is going to be like the what's his world, the cube world, where Bizarro's from.
Or he could go to Earth 3 and establish
Or he could
himself
go to
as
Earth 3
Ultraman.
and just land in front of freaking Superwoman, and she's like, "What the hell are you?" You
I'm
know?
thinking Bizarro because he's not that bright.
He crashed it. Well, I mean, he can fix that.
But on a parallel world where Kryptonite has different properties, it could make him smarter and more powerful.
Yeah, so Ultraman
never
is
see him
like
again.
Ultraman's addicted to kryptonite on Earth 3. Like it's like a blue chew for him over there, and he snorts them.
I'm just saying, the door is open to go one way or the other, or both.
The whole thing also
did
made
y'all-
it made Jonathan Kent's speech to him even more important.
Yes.
The whole thing.
Oh yeah. There were a couple. The Jonathan Kent speech and then Clark's speech at the very end
Mhm.
were the emotional
it's
centers
great.
of the whole movie. So,
Yes. Yes.
Did any of y'all catch the dialogue at the beginning? You know, and I like it stood out to me like a sore thumb, and even the second time when we went and watched it, even more so. In Superman 2, like depending on which version of Superman 2 you watch, he depowers Zod and throws him down into a glacier in the fortress. He kills him. You know,
There's actually, you ever seen the extended cut where they come out?
That's
they're
why.
right here.
That's why I was going to say, depending on which version you see, because you can see they
All
get
right.
arrested, but a lot of people have accepted that Christopher Reeve killed Zod, and they didn't care. They don't even think about it.
No.
Henry Cavill kills Zod. It's a crime against humanity. Now, stay with me here. In this new movie, Superman was described as only killing when necessary. He does not have a no-kill rule in this Superman movie, despite, like, you see him putting forth all the effort in the world, even for the
Saves
squirrel.
a squirrel. Yeah.
Even for the squirrel, they made sure to tell us there is not a no-kill rule for this Superman. They told us in this movie straightforward. And then, until they show us otherwise, he killed Ultraman. He threw him into a freaking black hole where...
No, he didn't kill him. He just didn't save him.
No, he literally killed him. This wasn't Batman. He didn't...
Thing.
Superman didn't
Right into
leave.
the hole. Come on.
Ultraman left. He looked at the black hole, looked at the bus, and sent him
I don't
out.
think he's dead. I think he's alive.
I do too. But
we
until
all
we
think
see
he's alive.
he's alive, the action
Well,
that Superman
he
took in
didn't
this
have a
movie
no-
was
That river of split atoms that was terrifying to Mr. Terrific. It's like, Lois, we can't go out there. Superman
very cool.
bathed in it
Yeah.
while saving that
Showing how tough he
baby.
is. Yeah. Showing how tough he is. Yeah. He doesn't know how strong
Yo,
he is. This is the
this
first.
right here.
Yeah, this is the first time he has lost because it's the first time he has faced anyone with his power level. Up till now, he's never faced anyone with anything near his power level. So it's the first time he takes an L. So he doesn't know how much he can take. He doesn't even know how much he can dish out yet. He's in that, he's not fully fledged Superman like we all know him yet, just like Pattinson wasn't fully fledged Batman in his. They're in like the, just the beginnings of who they are. They're not seasoned yet.
Oh, I don't know. I thought that was a kind of an A+ thing going for it, that he is fully Superman and he fully knows who he is. That doesn't mean he can't grow or change, because, he fully knew this message from his parents. He fully knew like what values he stood for, what his mission statement was, and what drives him. He knew all these things, but when presented with new facts, he was able to overcome that and still find that same essence from another place. When he realized, it was inside of him the whole time.
By the end of the movie, he's closer to it, just like Pattinson's Batman was very much closer to it at the end. I'm talking like at the beginning, he's not fully fledged. He doesn't know really. He's never faced like a dark side yet. He's never faced any of those intergalactic beings yet.
Well, he's got
so he's got a lot more
grow,
seasoning to go.
Yeah, he's got a lot of more things that we know as the comic readers that lie ahead of him. But he wasn't on his first day out. Like,
no, of course not.
Pattinson, like in that movie, he learned that his entire mission statement was wrong. That's what he learned. Like, that vengeance is not the way, that justice. That was the whole thing with his arc, was I am vengeance. That's how it was. That's how it was like commercial. That's how it was presented. That's how he operated and moved. And by the end of it,
Superman also learned his whole mission statement was not what he thought it was.
No, his mission statement was right. His source was wrong. He thought his
that's what I'm saying.
He gained his mission statement from a message from his parents, when really, as his dad said, parents don't form the children. All we do is hand you the tools.
That's a
and you
great
form
line.
yourself.
It's a great
Yeah,
line.
so
Yeah.
Right.
he didn't
A real
realize that
content.
That's right.
didn't realize that he was the one that did that. He was accrediting.
Nice to hear the Kents not tell Superman like, if people die, they die.
Yeah, it's nice to say. It's nice to hear him not say
Right.
things like, "Oh, you could have let the kids drown."
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he's like,
He didn't
you
say that. He
wouldn't
just
leave me
said
in a
maybe.
you wouldn't leave me in a tornado, would you?
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I left them in a tornado.
Yeah, how did this stack up for you guys compared, like, overall? I know you're a fan of Man of Steel, Jay, and y'all know I'm
Yeah,
a fan
I
of
am.
Man of Steel.
Yeah.
What did, like, just, dude, they're so different from each other. It's hard to even
Yeah.
compare. And like, I like the Man of Steel movie so much. There's plenty of room up there for all kinds of other stuff. I still prefer, and I said this before, the more serious take, like the Dark Knight trilogy tone, what Snyder was going for with his tone, and the more character study kind of films, the more dramatization stuff. I like when they bring the comics to the silver screen. I like them to have to try to find that balance of realism with comics because it's a different medium. It's not a book anymore.
Yeah.
But this was great. Like, it was handled so well. The comic booky feel was spot on. I still prefer the more realism stuff to it. But where do y'all stand on that? Like, with the comparisons with those two?
I personally like this.
Go ahead.
I like this version better. I like the I liked Henry Cavill in Man of Steel. I think he plays the Superman that he played. He played very well. I have some problems with what he was asked to do in some of the scenes. I don't think the script was as good for him, but I liked the fact that I also think he could I think James Gunn is able to bring those levels to it's kind of goofy, but then bring those to those extremely serious levels too. Again, not the dark.
He
bleak,
walks the
Dark Knight
line.
type.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he does that. And that was one of the things that I was concerned about too. And you mentioned that before is, was the comedy going to be a little bit too goofy and everything, It's funny when they first showed Jor-El, did anybody else think that was Lady Gaga to start?
No, I know who
was
that
playing
is.
Lara?
That's she. I love her. She's
She was
oh, my wife's not
she was
watching.
from Westworld, I think, right? But
she
to
was
me,
in
she looked like Lady
Westworld.
Gaga, and I'm like,
I thought they poured a Star is Born on him. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's what I thought he did.
I've seen that actress in things before, and I was shocked to see her. I was like, oh wow, she got a big part here. She was in Westworld, a few other things. I think her name's like Angela Safarin or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
She's been in some things.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting name.
I don't know. That's one thing.
It's the producer.
I don't think it's spelled the same. I'm not sure.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. I looked it up. She's not.
Yeah.
Now, that was one thing that even in that members only video I recorded today, Paul, like this page to screen direct parallel, that's one thing that I didn't catch any of that in this. I didn't catch any like slick homages. For example, like with the Snyderverse stuff, the Dark Knight Returns, the silhouette of Batman and the lightning strike, he created that in BVS. There's countless scenes all through Watchmen, 300, any of the Snyder stuff that he literally took a comic book and
Watchmen is almost virtually panel by panel.
Yeah, he literally puts it on the screen. I didn't see that in this new one, but it was comic booking a different way. I didn't see anything brought directly to screen and homaged like the way that Snyder has done. But
yeah, I couldn't either.
On the moon with Crypto. On the moon with Crypto, I think is right out of a book.
It is. Also, we're reminded that they don't need to breathe in space.
He's supposed to be able to hold his breath for a long time. Isn't that the thing with Superman?
Well, they'll let us know in another movie.
The moon with Crypto, that's from Also Superman, but that's Superman sitting not with Crypto, right? He's just sitting on a planet or something.
No, there's one with I don't know where it comes from, but there is a panel with him and Crypto. He's small on it, but him and Crypto are on the moon, looking at Earth.
Okay.
But this by far is my kind of Superman over whatever it was Zack Snyder was trying to do. Although
whatever it was.
Listen, I never agreed. The only thing I like that Zack Snyder did, I enjoyed the director's cuts of BVS and Justice League. They're too long, but Superman is much less of an a-hole. So I like that. And I do like Henry Cavill as a Superman, period. I just feel like all of the material was just too dark and too heavy and just not enough Superman for me.
Okay.
Where this
Now that who thinks that they missed an opportunity to have Guy Gardner actually eating Fruit Loops? Because then he would
What
be
was
eating
it? Fruity
colored green.
Pebbles?
He was eating Fruity Pebbles the
Fruity
whole time
Pebbles.
in the
Okay,
movie.
but if it was Fruit Loops, he would be eating green and red and orange rings.
You're right. This
That
movie
would've been-
sucks.
That would have been much more.
I think we
Sorry,
should
Cliff, I
discuss
had to get that in
the
there when it
cereal
came
for
up.
the rest of the show.
Yeah.
that would
This
have been a
is
great idea.
definitely, this tone in Superman, I think, is like a wildly more approachable for a general audience. Despite,
Mhm.
like Cliff,
Yeah.
you can attest to this, fellow Superman diehard over here. The amount of people that assume they know about Superman, assume they know about Superman comics, they don't pick him up because he's too overpowered, he's too one-dimensional, he's too vanilla.
Boring.
But then,
Yeah, that's always a thing,
you get a
boring.
movie like this, which is so accurate to the tone and
Right.
feel and pacing of just a standard Superman story. And look how people are reacting to this.
It was the animated series come to life. That's what I saw it as. It's like really
It
looked
was
like that
some of
cartoon. It
that.
felt like it.
Honest to God, this was a blend of, and I am looking at Superman, Lois, and Lex, right? This was a blend of Justice League Unlimited or animated series universe,
Yeah,
right?
those two together.
Right. Well, and with the Justice Gang, like it was given the vibes.
Yeah.
So we get one blend, Justice League Unlimited, one blend of Christopher Reeve. And when I say Christopher Reeve, I mean the whole shebang, because there are moments for with the Clark to Superman transition, which of course he, like Christopher Reeve, went to Juilliard. So bravo, Juilliard. You're still banging out quality students, right? She was the full realization of comic book Lois brought to life, and I love that. But also she had the swagger, and for the first trailer, I noted that she had the swagger of Margot Kidder. Like she incorporated that like what you do in Smallville swagger, right? And I love that. And it's something like really, really small, but I honest to God believe was intentional. So that's two right there. And then I felt like there was the elements of All-Star Superman and Superman for all seasons that were wrapped up into how we know these characters. I just felt like all of it was like on display, like sugar glitter on a cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I also think that if people are gonna like compare David Corenswet's Clark Kent to Christopher Reeves, I don't think that's fair, because in 1978, when you go 1978 back to the creation of the character, you had a much different Clark Kent than we've had from like 1980 forward to now. We've had a much more sophisticated and suave and much more able to handle himself more Clark Kent than what Christopher Reeve was looking at in the history of Superman at that time.
But
so I think the fact that he plays that.
I felt we got an honest to goodness, playful continuation. Like Clark doesn't take shit from people. This Clark,
right?
But he still is definitely that guy in the office who you kind of take for granted, and the only reason people really know him is like, well, you nailed those Superman stories, So I feel like
we only got like 5 minutes of Clark Kent. We didn't get much Clark Kent in this movie at all. We got like 5 minutes.
They made sure that the Clark Kent you got, they were very clear what you were getting.
There's more to explore with it, because we saw literally one scene with him acting as Clark.
They wanted to. I feel they were trying to make sure that we saw what Clark was like in the office, right? Then they made sure to show us what Lois is like as a rival and not just a love interest.
She was
right,
great.
and that's when we get that conversation. And I really believe in my heart, the interpretation is a woman who definitely, even though she wasn't ready to say she loved him, was definitely a woman who knows she loves this dude, but is also like, do you not see like what's wrong with you interviewing yourself? Have you not thought about these things?
Oh, no, she asked all the right questions.
She asked all the right questions. And when he realized this was no longer a playful thing to do on a date, he was mad. You know?
No, it was excellent. His reactions, her reactions. That scene, they talked about that scene. I think it took them a lot of days to shoot that.
And as it should, because that seems great.
yeah.
And every time, like, well, I wouldn't say that on the record, Superman. How do you pause this thing?
I'm sure there's an extended cut. I hope that's on the Blu-ray.
I hope that's especially that $40 freaking Blu-ray. Put that shit on the extended cut. Put it right on there.
Yeah, I hope they put all that stuff on there.
But I
pre-ordered my Blu-ray already, but 4K because it's 2025. The steelbooks are up for pre-order. GrooveEntertainment.com. Not a sponsor, but I'm open to conversations if you're listening. Groove Entertainment.
That scene with Crypto at the end was for the audience. All right.
Me and Emma were talking about that. Me and Emma were talking. I'm like, dude, like everyone wants to see Superman punch Lex Luthor in the face. You can't do that. You can't do that for numerous reasons. It'd be out of character for Superman. You would kill Lex Luthor. But the dog is a dog.
That was such a Loki Hulk moment too. I thought it was right out of Loki Hulk. He's monologuing, and then Crypto's like, "I had enough of this."
Yeah, I think great.
It was as soon as Lex put his finger on Superman. Superman says his little speech, and then Lex comes back to respond, and he's talking, and he's getting close to Superman, and he touches Superman. His finger touches Superman's chest, and the dog takes him.
It was great. And it was even in James Gunn style. It was like playful, but also like, ooh, like you hear his like bones.
Yeah, his arm is clearly broken. He's like,
right. Yeah, he's just a guy. He's not like Loki being flung around. He's just a human. He's getting all messed up.
Lex is making the speech. You know, like I have every right to be afraid of you. Any moment you could just snap and kill us all, right?
Oh, let's talk about Lex. He was the first time. I've never seen Lex Luthor actually scare me as a supervillain before. This time he did. He has world-threatening intellect in this. Yeah, like he should be. You know, everyone around the world, all the metahumans should be scared, even though he's just a guy. He can take care of them. He's more kind of like an evil Batman in that he's got the intellect to really take care of all these metahumans.
I do want to address this. It's small things. I'm saying it's small things.
Yeah, it's not the story, it's the tone.
Right, it's tone. Yeah. Like that's why I said it's like a sprinkle of sugar glitter on your cake. You know, it's just little things that if you've just been attached to Superman for 45 years like I have, because the first time I ever saw Superman, I'm 2 years old, and it's a memory I will never forget, right? It's like I am attached. Maybe I was 3. I got to look up the dates because the air dates are on the internet. But I watched it on CBS and it as a two-part event, you know? But like, so yeah, I'm saying when he does little things, the shifting of Clark to Superman and back again, like that's a very Christopher Reeve thing. Her swagger is a very Margot Kidder thing. But those are small things, and it's just there. It's just a treat.
And to this comment, this Lex was after some real estate too.
That's so funny that he's still after land.
It all came down to land.
It all came down to more land.
I know. Well, right, but this time it was about resources. It wasn't just about I own the property and it's all mine. It became about resources too. The resources in that piece of the country are far outweigh his investment to get it. Right. You know,
but in the Superman movie though, it was I'm gonna make my property now beachfront property. You know, so it was
and Superman Returns as well.
By the way, another Easter egg because somebody mentioned the Smallville vibe. So Planet 4, what were they called? Planet Watch, right? So Lexor suit,
Watch.
Right. So Lexor suit Planet Watch dude number 1 who yells at Mr. Terrific and Lois to not approach any further and starts arguing with Mr. Terrific. That's Michael Rosenbaum.
Right.
Yep.
Which one?
The first Lex suit guy number 1 is Michael Rosenbaum.
Oh, nice. That was one of my favorite scenes. The first time I watched it, when they land at Planet Watch's little beachfront hideout, and they're just walking up, and Lois is looking at all the people, and Mr. Terrific ain't paying them no attention because he doesn't care, and he's just following the trail, explaining to her, and that one raptor says, "Oh, it's just a smart one." I'm like, what?
Raptor?
You don't know what's gonna happen. It's great. That was the most Guardians moment in the movie.
It was the Yondu scene, right? That was his
very much like Yondu's arrow. Yeah, it was very cool.
But dude, I gotta tell you, the second time watching it was just as spectacular because there's a scene like halfway toward the end of the segment where he walks back up to Lois, who he has in the shield, and he puts his hand out almost like he's reaching for Lois, but he puts his hand out and doesn't even change his face, but the sphere just comes by and takes him up over and to the other side where there's still a fight going on. I'm like, God, it was just so smooth and seamless.
Choreography was amazing.
Yeah, dude, he was putting hands on him. Like it wasn't all the spheres. The dude can throw a punch.
No, they showed how formidable he is. You know, not to mess with him now.
No, that was a big moment for him in the movie. He really got to steal the show a couple times. That was a huge one.
No.
And Lois's role in this movie is absolutely 100% full on and heroic. Like, one of the things that pissed me off in BVS, the theater version, Lois's subplot is for shit.
We don't talk about that one.
And then
we don't talk about the theater cut of Justice League. We don't talk about the theater cut of BVS. They don't exist. We talk about the proper versions or none at all.
And then when we listen, I have a journey here with this, so you follow or bump off.
All right,
So,
I'll buckle up.
So anyhow, when we get to the Dawn of Justice extended director's cut, whatever,
Yeah.
her real story was finding out that this metal is very specific and made by Lex, so Superman can't detect shit. And
With the help of Martian Manhunter, by the way.
with the help of the unknowing help of Martian Manhunter, right?
Oh, the true fans knew all along. We were just waiting on the reveal for years.
Yeah. So
Everyone called Swanson from day one. Like, dude, that's Martian Manhunter.
Yep.
should have been, but
It was. It took forever to get there, but we got there.
what a moment. But anyhow, so that's the only time like Lois got to have like a full-on thing. Here, Lois gets to be so much more. First, she's like, all right, what happened to Superman? Right? Goes to the Justice Gang, is like, okay, he's one of you, somebody should help. She's the one who gets Mr. Terrific involved. Her and Jimmy are the ones who get all the info. And even when Jimmy gets everything handed to him, she goes, "You idiot, stop looking at her tits and look at the background. Everything's in the background."
Yeah, dude,
Your haircut should be a vow.
That's
Daily Planet was great.
To the credit of the ensemble cast that I was concerned about going into this, everything you just described in a nutshell is the Superman characters were not outshined by the ensemble cast.
No.
You had the Justice Gang there, but Lois, that was her story, and they were just, whether it was actual metahumans or whether it was just people that knew information, it was no different. Whether, it could have just been somebody who, it could have been a military personnel guy she knew. It could have been a security guy she knew that she went to help me get on this base real quick, but it was Mr. Terrific in this sense because we're leaning in to a comic book universe. They could have been replaced with anybody. They weren't. The fact of it being Mr. Terrific that took her there was not the linchpin that made the scene. She just had to have somebody get her there.
He gets to. By it being him, he gets to shine, right?
Yeah.
But like a story-wise, he only gets there because of Lois's actions, and Lois's actions get Lex imprisoned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Superman could have stopped Lex all day, but at the end, if Lois and Jimmy and everybody else hadn't done Lois and Jimmy, everybody else is just there for show. And Perry.
Why don't I have a seat?
Yeah, Perry's there just to go break it.
Dude, that was hilarious.
That's my favorite line of the movie. The funniest line of the movie.
I don't have a seat.
Why don't I have a seat?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
guy.
this was hilarious when the girl looked at Mr. Terrific. Can you stop it? Me?
Yeah, right.
Like I did this?
Yeah, there were a lot of great just character choices in there, like Jimmy Olsen being the Riz Master. That's just a stroke of genius. That was fantastic. Like at first you're not like, what's happening when you see that everyone's staring, and then you realize, oh, this is a joke. Like this is a thing that they're gonna do with him. He's just gonna be like, he doesn't understand why like all these girls are so attracted to him. It's gonna,
and it wasn't just one. And they really leaned into it, like when Lois said, like, thank God for your hot girlfriend sending all these selfies.
She's hot?
Hot? Like he doesn't see it.
Right.
It's all one
he doesn't
way.
see. He's oblivious, right?
He might be a
for
giant
Jimmy
turtle
Olsen.
boy in the second movie.
It can happen.
No.
Allegedly, the rumor is to give him an HBO Max series. I would love to see him do the whole thing,
and
Turtle
Mr.
Boy,
Terrific.
Elastic Lad, and all that shit.
Yeah, I do
Mr.
want to talk
Terrific and
about
Jimmy Olsen.
not necessarily just Otis, but the fact that Lex has goons, and not like traditional slapsticky goons, like just like with anything at all. no matter what it is. In this sense, it's Superman. He has tons of people that love him, but there's going to be an unlimited amount of people that don't also for no good reasons and maybe some good reasons. So I thought that was cool how Lex had a dedicated team that feared him, that worked for him for whatever reason. It didn't matter.
That were competent. Competent.
Yeah. Well, they were more like disciples. They're like he's kind of like their cult leader in a weird way. You know,
I feel like 20% of them were done being his cult disciples at the end of the movie.
Well, yeah, because he decided to destroy the world for his own ego. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, oh. Also, we never saw her after the baseball stadium. The engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never saw her after the subway.
After she was unconscious or
Clark
whatever.
says to her, he says, we can stop this now, you know? And he's trying to get her to change. And then we don't see her again. She's just unconscious, which I think is a great setup for her.
Well, we do see her. She flies up with them and she
crashes into the subway where they thought she was going to die, but she still had a heartbeat when they got back there. They should have showed. There should have been like just like when we saw Lex getting loaded up going to Belle Reve. We should have seen her getting loaded up going who cares where. But just
I feel like that was very intentional. I feel like they almost wanted us to forget about her at the end, right? So that way. Well, no, I feel like us kind of like the last time we see her, she's unconscious. I feel like is a way for them to leave the door open for them to play with how they bring her to the authority. And I feel like perhaps she will be the character we meet the authority through.
Yeah, maybe.
Just my thought.
That's a good point.
The Steve's comment about where Mr. Terrific says I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. I wonder if he did that specifically as kind of a nod to I'm the goddamn Batman.
I don't know, but I did see the little interview he did, and I think Steve might have been the one that also sent it to me, where Eddie was doing an interview talking about that scene where he walks up. He was supposed to push the actor away from the computer, but he made a judgment call and spoke to the actor before the shot, and instead of pushing him, he mush faces him. And he said if James doesn't like it, he'll just have to tell us to redo it. But I want to do it. I want to ask for forgiveness, not permission. And the guy's like, yeah, let's do it. And when he did it, James like, dude, that was awesome. Let's do it again. Mush face him harder this time.
More, yeah.
Yeah.
It totally worked.
It was awesome. Mr. Terrific had like the perfect vibes. Like every character across the board, I really felt like they were extremely true to the character. And I think the toughest one had to be Guy Gardner. That's a tough character to make work in this situation of not being the 1980s.
Making constructs of flipping people off. It's like
when they thought they tied you and he made the oven mittens, he made the stupid thing that went on the eye.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I see Terrificon in the chat. So shout out to Mitch. Also, a portion of the cast of the Superman movie will be at Terrificon this summer with autographs and everything. So you can meet Metamorpho, you can meet Cat Grant, you can meet her chest. All those things and more. I could see Jay booking on his phone while pretending he's not looking at it. And
the fortress was spectacular. That's a perfect description.
Oh yeah.
Like we saw it in the trailer, but sitting in that IMAX and watching it, being at the beginning of the movie when you're still like, I have this overwhelming sense of I can't believe I'm finally here because I've been waiting for this movie, anticipating this movie, nervous about this movie, wanting it to work so bad, wanting to like it so bad. And when it just comes on, I was like, we finally fucking made it. And then within minutes, we're seeing the fortress lift up and just epic looking shots and stuff. It was something.
All the effects were done so well. All the effects, especially on the engineer. She was amazing. Those effects on her. The nanites in Superman's throat. That was like, God, it was so cool.
I don't know if you noticed it. They were like, I noticed it more the second time. The nanites, they were itty bitty little bitty cubes. Like when her skin would move and stuff, it's just you probably saw it in that giant ass IMAX.
Oh yeah, you could see it.
All cubes, and it made me think of the mother box. I'm like, nanites, or are you messing with some weird other tech in your little pocket universes, Lex? What have you gotten a hold of?
Yeah, the only thing that I didn't like about the fortress. It looked great and everything, but as soon as Superman said, it's keyed to my DNA, well then, you knew what the story was. One of
Yeah,
those
you
four
knew as
people
soon
who
as they
walked on the
walked up
floor,
to it the first time.
exactly. One of those four people had to have Superman's DNA.
The
Is
fight
this
in the
Supergirl
fortress
an
at the
alien?
beginning was terrible. Which fight in the beginning? Talking about Lex and the robot? Yeah, I thought that was awesome. That was a great little shot of him just walking through there. I mean, it wasn't really a fight. You just got these metas just breaking robots.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a fight.
No. Seen it twice. I'm going to see it at least 3 more times. I'm up to 2. I don't know if I'll see it again or not. It is, after all, it's not Avatar.
I've seen it 3 times and then IMAX all 3 times.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Another thing about it, I probably will go back to see it because I want to see it in 3D.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
That's what I want to do. I did regular IMAX, I did regular theater, and now I want to do IMAX 3D.
Dave told me we should go down now. We've been going up in scale in theater. Let's now see it in like a $1 theater where the screen's ripped and
no, I can't.
I can't get on theater.
It smells a
no,
little bit.
I can't get on board with this. The CGI in this was far from bad. There was this was pretty clean CGI. I will say, like the scene when the dude's tooth coming out, that one scene when he punched the raptor looks pretty cartoony, but that's because they literally created a 3D pop out effect in that scene. Probably
now, those guys, those raptors, dude, they're not metahumans, are they? They just have
it's just the
so
suit.
that's a normal guy getting punched by Superman.
Well,
that's why
they're wearing Lex's battle armor. It's just a bunch of people with Lex's battle armor on, so they can take a hit from Superman. It can go in that proton river. Lex in his battle armor can fight Superman. So I guess they just amped up the concept. Instead of Lex being the one in the suit, he made a lot of different suits and put.
And they were even green and purple. They had the purple in there.
Yeah. The CGI, dude, watching those buildings collapse, like the flight sequences, the kaiju, again. And I saw
also
this
seeing Superman care about the destruction that he's causing was nice as well. He tried his best to stop the entire city from being destroyed.
Are you telling me dropping an entire alien spacecraft on a city is out of character for Superman?
Yeah.
No, I just like that he put the effort in.
Yeah, and do you know when else James Gunn put the effort in? In the first Guardians of the Galaxy, which came out after Man of Steel, and there's a couple Guardians on the planet trying to minimize the damage and save people, and I'm like, fuck, James Gunn gets it. What the fuck, man? There's 2 movies I saw after Man of Steel that made me more upset with Man of Steel, and that was one of them. Where I'm like, James Gunn knows what he's doing,
Yeah, this is a good point. Like normies are gonna be like, oh my god, it's David Cornsweet and David Cornsweet.
We all knew. I mean, this movie had 0 surprises, but it's still, that's how good it was. It didn't need any, but just because, us in our little world, we weren't surprised by anything. A lot of people that saw this movie, and I think it's over 200 million for worldwide. A lot of people,
217 million.
There you go. A lot of them probably were shocked, like, oh, it's a clone. They didn't know that was coming at all.
And about that 217, a lot of us, myself included, I know my favorite jabronis over at the Unchosen Ones podcast, they've talked about this, how much is riding on this movie being its success. And I think we've all might have taken some stuff for granted, like but what's your favorite phrase? I don't care how much you spend, just make sure I like it. What is it you say, Jay? Like, I don't care what you spend. Spend all the money, spend other money.
I'm the customer. I want the best product available. Your back end is your problem. You figure it out. I am the customer. My favorite, right? I'm the one spending money on the popcorn and the soda and all the bullshit. I want the best product you can possibly give me. I do not care how much you spend on it. It's your problem. And
my counter, not my counter to that, but my take on that is I can't affect it in any way. All I can do is buy a ticket, but I care in the sense that I want it to succeed because I know the future projects, they hinge on the success of these and stuff. Yeah. And with everything going on with Warner Brothers Discovery, with the mergers, the separating, the shutting down the DCEU, the launching the DCU, the 10-year plan they have, so much hinges on this being a success. And Like they've even said, like with what we've spent on this movie, what we've invested into this movie, it needs to pool like 700 for us to consider it a financial success. But I think there's more to their bookkeeping than just that, because James Gunn has been in interviews talking about how, like, he's like, I've seen these conversations, and that's not how we're approaching this. Well, what we want
it's absolutely ridiculous to say that it's not going to be a success if it doesn't make $700 million.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he said that's not what their sole goal is. Like, yes, we want to make the money, but that's not what we're trying to do. Like, it's clear that they've had these in-depth talks about the good nature of the audience and how they lost the good grace of the audience along the way. I think that's ultimately what they're going for here. It's trying to win back the audience's trust for the brand.
Yeah.
And David Zaslav, I've talked about this. When he took over Warner Brothers, I was very ecstatic because he walked in like Neil Adams did in the bullpen when he first came on at DC. And the first thing he said is, where's Schuster and Siegler? Like, where I want to meet the guys who created Superman. And they're like, they don't work here. And he went off to go like save them historically, like got them out of poverty. Well, David Zaslav walked into Warner Brothers and did the same thing in a modern sense. He walked in, he says, all right, what are we doing with Superman? And everyone's like, what do you mean? Superman's not that cool anymore. He's like, y'all are crazy. That's the most iconic superhero to ever exist. He's our biggest cash cow. Make it work. That's the reason why that's how this all came to be, was Zaslav saying, forefront Superman. You will make him the icon. He's our icon for our brand. And he even came out and put out an entire conversation, interview, whatever, talking about how the conversations with James Gunn 3 years ago with him and Peter, how he was on really liking like their idea, their outlook on these DC characters. And he says that he watched the movie Soars, James Gunn's passion and vision came to life on the big screen. Superman is just the first step. Over the next year alone, DC Studio will introduce the film Supergirl and Clayface in theaters and the series Lanterns on HBO Max, all part of a bold 10-year plan. The DC vision is clear. The momentum is real, and I couldn't be more excited for what's ahead. That's a statement based on what this movie's done in the last 48 hours alone.
Yeah, it's got. I mean, I think I said the same thing here too. It's like, yeah, it's got to make it's got to make money so they can keep making movies. But it needs to. More importantly, it needs to be the foundation to build other things upon. So that's what it needs to be. And I think there was something too where James Gunn has said that their plan is, which I'm sure could probably vary widely, but they're aiming for like 2 movies, a couple of series, and 1 animated, every year. But he also has said, which he's not going to do anything until he has a good script. One of the things that I'm hearing about Avengers Doomsday is that they're still trying to write the 3rd act of the movie. To this day,
that's a James Gunn thing. Yeah, he said no more unfinished scripts. Everything has to be a finished script to go into production. That's his one of his rules.
Right. And you guys are talking about phrases and everything. My favorite phrase is Superman doesn't do selfies.
And she goes, "Oh, we're doing the 3rd person now." I think it's something I've tried, and she's like, "No."
Yeah, I like how she knocks him down a peg every time he thinks like who he is.
You're walking around thinking up these phrases that are terrible, by the way.
The back end cost is all wrapped up in artisanal popcorn. I think they've scored a W. Like the marketing for this has been god level.
I mean, last time I've seen something like this was Batman '89, and because that was just everywhere you went.
I had an ice cream cake blizzard at DQ today. Superman.
Everywhere.
The marketing for this. Paul, remember, again, we were talking about this over a month ago. I'm like, I think this movie's going to do amazing just based on the organic marketing working, because normies, I would go out in public and not at the comic shop, but just like the kids' school, the grocery store, people would be wearing merchandise for this movie that was not released yet, that they have either ordered online because of the trailer, the marketing had gotten to them and they bought products. I do that for everything anyways, DC, but I notice when other people are wearing it, because it's rare to see someone else getting merch ahead of time so you can wear it to that, like merch for the movie that hasn't come out yet.
The normies are who make and break these things. It's not us. They're going to have us whether it sucks or not. We're there no matter what. But they got to get the normies.
with a budget like this film has, you're aiming for the normies too. You want them
Yeah.
all. You're not just placating to the comic fans. But dude, the amount of people that showed up to see the movie, easily, if you weren't wearing Superman merch, you were an anomaly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like my whole team, my whole crew rolls up in it, but everyone else there was too. Like
Yeah,
literally
saw a
coming
lot
out
of
of the
Superman
theater.
t-shirts, man. A
It was
lot. It
crazy.
was nice. It was nice to see it.
Did you see the?
I'm hoping
the
it made a lot of new
Anthony-
fans.
Yeah. Did you see the Anthony Starr?
Oh,
Twitter
that was great.
picture?
Yeah, somebody
Somebody
showed up as
Somebody showed up as
Homelander.
Homelander, and he basically said,
Yeah.
you know, takes a
That's
lot
a
of guts to
baller
show
move.
up as
Yeah.
Highlander in a, you know, in a hostile territory. You know,
He
mad
said more
respect.
people should show up as opposing characters. That's I think a
Yeah.
legendary move or baller, something like that.
Yeah,
Said it was a stud move. That's what he said.
yeah.
So a lot of the takes that I'm getting from you, Sledger, just rehashed or repeated from the Nerdrotic video. I would easily debate this all day long. Like I know Nerdrotic used that clip from Trey Parker and Matt Stone when they were teaching the film class, but the Superman movie, I had seen the movie long before Nerdrotic put out that video because I went to that advanced screening. And when I saw that video, I'm like, that wasn't this movie. It was Therefore So Then. It's Therefore So Then throughout the entire Superman movie. I even saw the Superman movie, saw Nerdrotic's video where he uses this example for it, and then I saw the Superman movie again. It is a bunch of Therefore So Then. It's not and then. Even though that was a brilliant little gimmick he did in that video, it was hilarious, especially using the Dude Where's My Car clips. That was super funny. The merch is killing me. Yeah, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. Man of Steel had an ice cream special Sunday at Cold Stone. Well, they
Yeah,
leveled up getting
couldn't
Dairy
escape it.
Queen. Yeah.
Could not escape.
Dairy
It was
Queen did
everywhere.
it better, baby. Dairy Queen did it better.
So isn't this still being like debated amongst the executives and the bigwigs what to do with Battinson? Like as of right now, nothing has been dubbed Elseworld officially. Nothing is that until they cut the little promo and put it in the film.
I thought James Gunn said that Pattinson Batman was Elseworld.
He did He did 2
yeah.
years ago in that little thing.
Right.
But, since then, like I know that there's been a lot of talks. Like he's put out things like talking about like little, not in depth, explaining to us commoners the take on it. But there's been talks of like the Batman conundrum. Are you trying to run 2 separate Batman at one time? Are you?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Is the Matt Reeves thing even going to go forward? There's a little stint there where they were talking about Matt Reeves' health was in a certain place that slowed down his script writing, and it kind of got like a little dicey there for about a month.
The Batman world does not fit into this at all. I hope they keep it separate, and I hope they get another Batman that is more like Justice League Unlimited Batman, because that he would fit perfectly in this world, because he's going to be the guy in the Watchtower who is prepared to take all these guys out in case of emergency. You know, call Batman. If these guys get out of hand, it's going to be Batman. He's watching them all. He's annoyed by them all, probably, but he wants to keep it together.
I think the Battinson, Batman, Gotham, all of it fits perfectly into this DCU because of how like drastically different it is from Metropolis. Like Batman, I want the DCU to be that different from project to project to project. Nothing about the story, the interactions, the timeline contradict each other, but Gotham looking like it did, having that gritty sense, really dark and wet, and then the Superman being Metropolis, just like the animated show. Like look at the animated Batman versus the animated Superman. Like we have that exact dichotomy right now.
That world is just it's a different tone, though. It's a completely different tone. You can
As
have
it
the
should
same
be.
world, but you got to keep the tone relatively the same. Yeah,
No.
you do.
No,
You
you'll
do.
end up with another MCU. You need to.
You'll end up with another multi-billion-dollar franchise. Oh no!
No,
What do you mean you'll end up with another
You
MCU?
got,
Like that's a bad
be
thing.
honest here. The MCU started going downhill when they started hitting copy and paste for every project. It was that was one of its biggest downfalls.
Something goes on long enough, you're gonna hit a pitfall at some point. It went on for 20. You know how long has it been now?
The
How many
Infinity
movies?
Saga was wildly successful, was amazing with a couple of little iffies in there, but was amazing. I love it to death. Everything after that was just, it really, the downhill started before the Infinity Saga ended. But like, dude, that's where they went wrong. You cannot have anything tonally similar about a Superman movie and a Batman movie, just like you don't in the comics. That's how you lose it.
There's a fantastical aspect. You can't just move along in different franchises.
They don't need to be tonally similar, but they need to feel like they live in the same world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with that, but
And that's the thing.
Pattinson's Batman doesn't feel like he lives in the same world.
Like he lives in this world
at all. It's a different Earth completely. But why even do it? Because at some point you can put them together in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
James Gunn announced when he came on board, we're going to have Elseworld films.
Huh.
That's it. Making an Elseworld. They also should have used the Elseworld label on those damn Joker movies, especially the second one. That should be.
Don't you dare say a bad word about Joker 2.
I don't think they'll use Pattinson because I don't really think that he's interested in doing more than 3 movies.
Yeah, he's not interested in long term. He's not. No, I think he'll do
impression.
Hope he does 1 or 2 more, but I don't think.
Yeah, back to just to address the CGI thing. The CGI in this was like better than a lot of the stuff that comes out these days, and I never knock a movie for CGI because, and I'd say it 1,000 times. Why? Because there's only one Avatar franchise. You have Avatar and you have everything else. So let's quit pretending like CGI matters. Like if people cared about CGI, they would all go see Avatar. Because that's the only place where you can see impressive CGI. The rest is just CGI. I thought it looked good. I thought it was really clean CGI. I like CGI to be stylized for the movie to a degree. You know, I want it to look real, but it's fine for CGI to have some style to it. It is an artist making it after all. Yeah. I don't know.
The only thing I can say about that is the popcorn thing is they actually you could actually turn it around. You could have Krypto on one side and Superman on the other on the paper. So whichever side you wanted to do. So there were 2 sides to the paper.
On the inside?
Yeah, you could on the newspaper box. You open the thing like
I got
newspaper, and then there was a card that slid in, and you could turn it over if you wanted Krypton to be the newspaper, or Krypto to be the newspaper, or if you wanted Superman to be the newspaper.
Interesting.
Which theater was that at?
AMC.
Yeah, we don't have any of those. We have Regals and Georgia theater companies.
They also gave out this comic book too on Thursday.
Oh, you got one.
The IMAX, yeah. The thing is, this is the same cover that Dan Mora did for Krypto #1, but it has All-Star Superman inside instead.
Oh,
All-Star
nice.
Superman #1.
Did you and they give that at the theater?
Yeah.
How's the condition?
Just that Thursday night 6 p.m. showing in IMAX.
Any spine ticks on it?
It was called the
Could you get
Fan
one,
No.
Turn it in for another one.
Next one. Exactly. Let me see that.
You'd be picky about it. Yeah. I don't like this one. Has like a color breaking spine tick. I would like another one.
It says, is the Superman super healing from the magnified sun a thing or just from this movie? That's the first time I've seen them use the chair and the magnifying glass on him.
Yeah, the chair. Yeah,
but
he's done that thing of. I mean, he didn't he? Henry Cavill did it too, right? Where he kind of did the whole Jesus thing, where he kind of stood there, lying in space.
Henry Cavill did it a couple times. He did that when he came back from the dead and got his suit and everything. The first thing he did, because it was nighttime, when he suited up and had that iconic moment where all the dialogue that people didn't understand was written for this trilogy, and it all came together in the third part and worked with each other to make the most epic father-son go get him tiger kind of moment. He flew straight up to space and soaked up the sun before he went and kicked the shit out of Steppenwolf. But also in BVS, he got nuked in space. Remember, he was just floating there, like skin and bones. And
that was what was that cover where he's like all shriveled up? Panic in the Sky. Panic in the Sky, was that it? So they were.
I guess that's not what that's from. That was literally from The Dark Knight Returns.
Which one?
The Superman shriveled up after taking a nuke. That absolutely happens in Dark Knight Returns.
Oh yeah, Dark Knight Returns. Right. Yes, you're correct. Right.
And he didn't do shrivel. He was skeletal because of that swarm that Brainiac released, which Wizard Magazine incorrectly thought was Doomsday, and that was fun when I was a kid. I crap all over modern spec, but I forget that Wizard Magazine was there to fuck with our heads back in the day.
Loved Wizard. I love when they did their like, let's cast this movie, and they would like pick actors from
Right,
around
that would
Hollywood
be-
who would be.
Do you know did they ever get it right a single time?
I don't know. You'd have to go back and look and see
Everyone that I
what
found,
percentage
everyone
they
that I
were.
found, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem. See, this is my concern. Attempting to do an Elseworld movie thing, you're going to just confuse the audience. Like James Gunn put out today, like, hey, for all of you people who are confused about Peacemaker and the canon, we're going to put out a podcast to help you understand. Like, bro, no one's listening to your Peacemaker canon podcast. Like, that's not a thing, dude. Like, if you start doing Elseworld stuff, like,
They might have to have a bumper in the
wanting-
beginning of the movie that has like, this is like something explaining like on a different world where Batman did this or Superman did this, and explain that it's an Elseworlds thing, and they put it
You
in
know
front
what
of
I would
every
do?
single one.
I would be like previously on Peacemaker, and then get right up to the end where he would meet the Justice League, and then be like, the Flash fucked up. Now Peacemaker season 2. That would be it. That would
be
brilliant.
hilarious. Yes.
That would be brilliant.
That's what we all expected from the actual Flash movie. We knew we were doing Flashpoint. We assumed that they're going to they were going to do something unique in a sense that the DCEU would still be canon to the DCU. It will just have been Flashpointed. There was no reason to not do that, especially when you're keeping some elements like Peacemaker and whatever else, and then kind of rewriting other stuff. They could have easily just done that. So
They could always go back. It's comics. They could always go back in the movie during a crisis, one of the 50 million crises.
By the way,
DC
you
has
know what? Something I do not need to see. I'm completely over it. I'm over Crisis. I love Crisis the book. I don't need us to get
so
to
many
Crisis.
crises.
I don't need to see that shit.
Crises.
Yeah, I don't need that fucking shit one bit.
I don't know. I need a time crisis in my life. That's what I need.
Yeah,
Wait
I
for
have
the fall.
enough crisis in my life. I have enough crisis in my life. Y'all should be worried about my damn mental health. I'm on my third.
They need to kill him. They need to kill Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem.
I don't have
problem.
the same issues with live action Amanda Waller.
I think she's awesome as that character.
I think she's one of
Did
the only real villains we have. She's
Did
legit.
you guys get an audible audience reaction in the theater when Peacemaker came on screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Listen.
That show might have been more popular than people think.
I don't
I
know.
thought it was a hit. Like, I remember when it came out, I was blown away. But I remember
Yeah, it
it
was
like
good.
being wildly successful for HBO at the time.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent.
Let me tell you, when Superman took off in the beginning of the film and his S took over the screen,
Mhm.
everyone in my theater applauded.
Nice.
Right? When
Awesome.
Peacemaker showed up on the screen, everybody in my theater
Mhm.
busted out with noise.
Right.
And when the movie ended, everyone in my theater applauded again.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, did you have similar reactions?
I got
Yes.
one of two. I got applause at the end of the IMAX screening. Everyone applauded. We didn't get applause in the other one, but we did also get audible, like, oh, from Supergirl showing up.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people
Right. Yeah.
going like that. Mhm.
Patrick
What,
Stewart, yes. Drew Mantrue, yes.
Oh, did they get that right?
Yes, they did. Probably the only one they could possibly nail.
What did y'all think of the whole Supergirl showing up at the end?
I think
Love
it's
that
gonna
they're
be-
going
I
that
think
way
it's
with her.
confusing.
She's
I
like
mean,
a party girl.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they explained it, but I think
Mhm.
the normies, or that's what we're calling them, are not going to understand the fact that she's drunk and she's calling Clark bitch and things like that.
Well, he kind of explained the whole thing. She likes to go party on red suns.
Yeah,
So that she can get drunk,
Well, he explained that, but the reason behind it wasn't explained. That seems wildly, like, to me, being
Yeah.
familiar with the character of Supergirl and being familiar with the character of current Supergirl and Woman of Tomorrow, that was such a wild place to hit the normies, because you're like, why is she act like this?
Yeah.
But she has like one of the most tragic backstories, especially how they're about to show you, because like she was 14 when Krypton exploded. She watched all this stuff slowly devolve. She watched her entire planet die. All these people go, but her poor city of Argos, if you remember the Supergirl movie, right? How her city was protected and came off the planet. They survived for a while in space, and it was slowly being irradiated, and it was turning into kryptonite under their feet. So they had to figure out how to get her out of there while they were trying to tamp down the radiation. So she watched all of her people die twice. So she has a horrible backstory, and she goes off planet because she's literally trying to drink to cope with what she hasn't been able to process. So that's like the whole movie that we're about to get, and I don't think a lot of
more excited for it now.
Yeah, and that's why I think like the normies are probably saying to themselves, Superman is such a good guy. Why is his cousin such an asshole?
Well, that's what the movie's for. That's why they're going to make a whole movie with her.
Exactly.
Not only is that what the movie's for, but also for a lot of people, it's a lived experience.
Mm.
Do you think Lex made Detective Chimp?
Right? He could accidentally make Detective Chimp. Imagine one of those chimps actually gets away. And
that was so great. The internet monkeys, that was fantastic.
Yeah. That was hilarious.
I mean, that's like going full throttle. Like James Gunn does not care. Like I'm going to put a bunch
I hate super shit.
So Paul, what did you get Dominator vibes from the alien that was driving the little sled around?
No, I got Project Cadmus vibes is what I got.
No, you only think it was a white Martian?
You got White Martian?
I know the Dominator
because he said the Martian joke right before it. He said Martian, same. What did he say, Lex? He said something like, Martian, same difference. And then they showed the
white creature dude, yes.
Yeah. What did he call him? Mr. Handsome?
It was the face. It was the face that got me, and like the sharp teeth and stuff. I know he went in yellow with the red dot, but I still got those vibes. There was so much in that movie that was just like, here you go. Like, you don't need, it just is what it is. We didn't even talk about it yet, but Metamorpho, that was one that they absolutely leaned into unapologetically.
No.
Like, that scene.
That's how he does everything, unapologetic.
When Lois says, you got him, he's like, I got him, and the flying dog, an ugly baby, and a squiggly man.
Squiggly man,
yeah. and Emma pointed it out. It's like Metamorpho was the most judgmental character. He looks at Superman and goes, "Why do you still look so gross?" And like he kept taking these like offhanded. Yeah, he's looking at Superman.
He has no filter.
While he's a squiggly guy going, "Dude, you're so weird."
Yeah, right. Yeah, those were like some of the little James Gunn things that he'll just throw something into a character that you're never expecting, and it just works. Things like that. Like he's like too honest, and like the robot Superman, the robot number 4, he keeps trying to Gary, right?
Name.
Right. He keeps trying to make everyone think he's like this soulless being, but really he cares a lot, about everything and everyone.
The Metamorpho scene, the whole dynamic between Metamorpho and Superman, to me, kind of reminded me a little bit of the Miss Tessmacher Superman scene in the first movie, where the reason why Miss Tessmacher takes the kryptonite off is because her parents live where they're gonna exactly right. And then this one is you're gonna save my son, right? And so that's why he decides to pull the kryptonite back. So that to me was kind of
even better. Even better. I'm gonna pull the kryptonite back, and also I can't quite make a son, but I can do this. Boom! And I'm like, yes.
That was badass. I kind of think we all knew it was coming, but it was still so awesome. Yeah,
it was exactly. You could sense it was coming. By the way, Lex and fucking Russian roulette. Can we talk about that?
Oh man, that's like there was a Lex Luthor you hated. You hated this guy.
Yeah,
this guy was a real dick.
He was a dick. He was brutal. I mean, he's every narcissist I've ever known, except more dangerous. And I gotta tell you, it was wild. But I was like, are we really like up until that moment? I'm like, this is a family-friendly movie. And I'm like, oh my God, we're doing Russian roulette with Lex Luthor.
Right.
This is not so family-friendly. Superman's like, yep, I could smell the president's piss the whole time I flew him across.
Right. That was a line. I was like, wow.
I was like, oh shit. I'm like, are y'all grabbing your kids over there? Like,
and that was a line.
But even still, the way they did the Russian roulette, they pulled the camera away intentionally. So that it wasn't so in your face. So like, it's almost like they did it so that you could grab your kid and cover their eyes. I don't know. I felt like timing was everything.
I liked Lex's actual reactions. You're like, oh, I thought that would go longer.
Yeah, exactly.
He makes a joke about it. That's how.
Oh well, I'll go get somebody else.
Joke about it.
Yeah. Oh well.
And he's like, I'll go get that Clark Kent guy. I'll get that Clark Kent guy.
Right.
Yeah, this was something that caught me a little off guard. Knowing, first off, Lois had 2 file boxes on her desk at work that were labeled Stagg, where she was investigating Simon Stagg, which is Metamorpho's baby mama's dad. And when we see Metamorpho's baby mama, she does look like a crack whore prostitute in a house that has like sheetrock falling off the wall. But I just assume like the whole thing with them is she's in love with Rex despite her standing in life. She sees through him despite having everything she could possibly want, being beautiful, attractive, having money. She sees through everything of Rex and sees him for who he is and loves him to death. So when I saw it the second time, I was paying a little bit more attention because it was a quick scene, and she didn't really look like a crack whore. She just looked like she had been crying profusely because she just got her husband and her child back. So she didn't have black eyes. Her mascara was running, and she looked teary-eyed, and she was sitting next to him. So I think he had just gotten home kind of thing is what I'm assuming. But yeah, that caught me off guard during my first viewing. I'm like, wait a minute. She's supposed to be a smoke show. She's supposed to be chasing Jimmy Olsen.
Hashtag super shit.
All taste Jimmy Olsen.
He was good too, man. The kid who played Jimmy Olsen, he was excellent.
Yeah, he's awesome in Gemstone.
I've loved that kid since Santa Clarita Diet. Love him.
Yeah, he was good in Vacation, the remade Vacation.
Yeah,
was excellent.
Vacation was hilarious.
That was hilarious. It was good.
The Metamorpho, dude, that one, we got one like super good scene of him when he came flying in as a big sandstorm and then just the hand to the giant hammer.
Yeah, that was cool. The acid was cool too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They haven't mentioned anything about a movie or a show.
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned
With
anything about a
acid.
movie or a show, but they have mentioned about possibly Mr. Terrific and Jimmy Olsen getting a series.
I love Guy Gardner taking him in just because he agrees with the name too. That was awesome.
Exactly. The whole construct middle fingers that he was doing to the tanks.
Yeah, I think the only one that didn't really get like there was really no
Hawkgirl.
true good reason for the character to be there was Hawkgirl. Kind of didn't get a lot.
Right.
Okay,
There's not much on Hawkgirl.
But Hawkgirl was there to be like, oh no, motherfucker, we're not all Superman. Let me drop you, a world leader, to your death. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
that's true. She did kill someone, right?
This movie did every after credit scene before the credits. People complain about the after credits. The after credits were for us to mellow the fuck out from everything they introduced. All right.
People are too entitled. You don't. After credit scenes are like those are bonuses. I remember back in like the day, you got an extra after credit scene. It was like, whoa, that blew you away. No matter what it was.
Frank Langella popping up out of the water.
Yeah.
With
Oh yeah, right. Frank Langella. Yeah, that was a good one.
James Gunn has said that he has sworn off doing any after credit scenes that will have anything doing to
they don't have to move the story along. They don't have to.
Because he has so many ones. He has Adam Warlock. He has all these things that basically.
It was just two fun things. That's it. And that's more than people deserve nowadays.
It serviced the movie you just watched, which is like that's a cherry on top. We all just finished watching a movie that like 96% of people just loved watching, and they give you a couple more little nuggets.
More, right? You don't want to leave. You know, it was great. I love, and that was even that last after credit scene where he's staring at the wall with Mr. Terrific, and we also I think were those the first stills anyone saw of the movie.
Photos we ever
the
saw.
Last moment in the movie is what we saw first, which is kind of crazy. But it even furthered Superman's character in this movie just a little bit more. How he's like, oh, that was something stupid to say. Now he's gonna be hard on himself, but like he's gonna think about that for a week that he said that he made Mr. Terrific feel bad.
Now I could see Guy Gardner leaving the Justice Gang due to the events of the Lantern show that he's confirmed to be in. I suspect he's going to die in the Lantern show.
But you really think so?
I do. With Guy Gardner gone out of the picture for a while, they have room to actually make a name for the team, which you could potentially get the Terrifics out of it at that point.
That's I mean, so many avenues. There's just unlimited possibilities the way they can go with this.
I don't see that happening with Guy.
40 years for
if anything, I see us entering the era of Justice League International, and specifically Justice League International, because we got a glimpse of Maxwell Lord, and because the Justice Gang did shit that they absolutely was out of line, which pisses off Rick Flag Sr. at the end of the movie. They went into a war zone, stopped a war, middle finger energy constructs, knocking shit all around. You know, what's his name turned into a goddamn sandstorm. You know, I
Yeah,
mean, like,
in
and
Marvel, yeah.
Hawkgirl killed an active president. That shit is wild. Wild.
Right.
All right. Let me tell you, the repercussions are the reason we cut to freaking Rick Flag Sr. was to remind us the repercussions are real. So I see us heading into Justice League International because Maxwell Lord will be like, screw that shit. We're international, and that's why we can do that.
Well, we're going to get to see it in Peacemaker. Lord is in there with the other two.
Yeah, he's
We're
great.
going to get to see it there.
You know, they're probably interviewing him. So we get a taste of that. And then we get all right, so 368 women proof. That shit was funny. But no, we get that. We get Supergirl. We get Lex going to Belle Reve, which screams Amanda Waller. And oh my God, am I forgetting anything else? I don't know. I just felt like a lot was set in motion, and you don't need any after credits after that. You know?
No, that's how we know this movie was a success, because look what we're talking. We're talking about Justice League International. If this movie sucked, we wouldn't be talking about the possibility of something like that. But this movie did it. It opened up every door for DC, every single one.
Right, but it opened up doors, but in a different way than they do in Marvel. I think in Marvel, when they open up the doors, they're basically saying to you, "We're going to go through these," as opposed to James Gunn. I think put things in there like, yeah, he said you're taking it into Belle Reve, which they could play on later on down the road, or it could just be, you know what, you're just finding out what Lex Luthor's final destination is. You know, it's opening doors that they have an option to go through them if they want to, but they don't have to.
No, they don't. They don't have to do anything. But
Right.
yeah, just the success of this movie now gives them all these skeleton keys
absolutely.
to go all over the DC universe. But this had to work first, and it did. It did it.
Right, but my point is, like, it's not like Star Fox showing up, and you know, like, why are you showing Star Fox unless you're going to use him somewhere else? You know,
right?
They better get that motherfucker right back in that star. Get them Eternals back on it. Right. But in the meantime, yeah, Hawkgirl strip killed somebody. We see the international repercussion through that little Pentagon scene with that dude and Rick Flag. So there is a problem. I'm sure of it.
Well, also the whole issue with him intervening in that war to begin with, no one had a problem with it directly. Lex created a problem with it. Lex manipulated every aspect of it, from the world leaders saying, like, we were peaceful with y'all till this, when they, like, it was literally a Lex scheme, the whole thing, every inch of it. Just like in BVS, the whole Batman branding people in jail and Superman thinking that's mean. Batman wasn't branding people in jail. Like, Lex was sending people in to kill those guys in the jail, which you see in the Ultimate Cut. Like, it's a Lex scheme. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did any of you want to see Eve's feet after they talked about it?
Honestly, I did. I wanted to know, are there pimples on them? Like, what's homegirl got
Mutant
going on down
toes.
there?
She said it looked like I spilled. What did she say? It looked like I spilled crab soup on them or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
They look like shrimp or something, right?
Shrimp cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail. That's it. Lex created the Clone Wars. Yeah. Do you think James Gunn is going to make announcements at San Diego Comic-Con? I saw an article today that said that San Diego Comic-Con's this month in DC announced or something, but I didn't open it to read it.
I believe that the main thing that they're doing at San Diego Comic-Con, most of what they're going to do is going to be revolving around Peacemaker. Because it's next month, basically, right? Or maybe even the end of this month. I don't recall exactly when, but yeah, they're doing a whole thing. It's called Peace Fest, like 3 days at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's going to boost everything. This will boost every future DC project now, because people are going to be interested. Hey, you know, this I want to see where this goes.
I want to remind everybody that we mentioned at the beginning of the stream, but they established in this movie that even Superman does not have a no-kill policy. It was stated and described as such. He only kills people when absolutely necessary. So if he's the best,
Isn't that the same as the comics? He doesn't have a no kill in the comics.
I'm not comparing it or judging it. I'm just putting out there what they said. And to this comment, if Superman's the best of them, and that's how he operates, which I think that's how any moral, real life person operates. Like, that's kind of a common sense statement, you know. But if that's his, what would you expect Hawk Girls to be? She's kind of like an ancient warrior and reincarnated 1,000 times.
Yeah,
over.
I mean, she has a big backstory too. So
does anyone feel any type of way when Wonder Woman takes someone down? She's a warrior. You know, these aren't all like traditional.
No, that's why Superman's different. You hold him to a higher standard.
Higher standard, exactly.
I also hold Wonder Woman to a higher standard. I do not condone her just running around snapping necks and shit. I enjoyed it for a sacrifice leading into Infinite Crisis, because Maxwell Lord, while wrapped in the lasso, was like, "You can't stop me. You'll have to kill me." And then he realizes what he just said to this woman who was raised by Amazons.
You know what she could have done, Cliff? She could have done this on his forehead, and she would have stopped him. That's all she had to do. She could have literally flicked that guy in the forehead and decoupled him from Superman. Just boop, done.
Yeah, I think the thing with Wonder Woman is she will always try to de-escalate. She will always try to avoid violence, but she is not afraid to meet violence with violence if that's what it takes to rectify the situation.
Yeah, it's just about the attitude of Superman. Like, killing is not like, oh, he was upset that the kaiju had to be killed. You know, he's trying to do it so humanely, you know?
I don't think they misrepresented him. I was just pointing out that I think that we're still trying to move away from that mindset where if something happens, your audience is going to flip out, you know? Like, I think that
I just don't think, you know, Snyder didn't do a good job with it making no choice out of it. Like, he could,
you can still see
it looked like there could have been like so many other options he could have done, like move his head, put his hand up. Like, there's so many things he could have done.
House of L just did a video. He's like, he's like the biggest Superman fan that I know. He's like Snyder got it wrong. He said you'd have to kill me to stop me, and Clark should just be like, no, man, and just covered his eyes. It just covered his eyes, and those people would have been fine. Like, move on. Let's figure this out down the road.
Right. I think it was how he did it. Yeah, not that he had to kill someone. It's why and what other options were available, and he didn't take any of them.
I want you to know, Joel's comment is why I have a problem with Wonder Woman killing.
Where's
because
Joel's
just Wonder Woman is a warrior. She's got to do what she's got to do. Wonder Woman is not a she's got to do what she's got to do character, right? And I told Mark Waid that it was partly his fault because of him putting her in armor and giving her the freaking sword that Hephaestus made for her as Split Atoms in freaking Kingdom Come. And he's like, oh, come on. And I was like, well, it's happening. And I
don't think that her having to do what she has to do implies she's just killing willy-nilly. She's just
she's not, but she and Superman, they're de-escalators, right? Mm-hmm. They're not like, you got to do what's got to be done. You know, they're what's the expression?
Ends justify the means.
But right, the ends justify the means, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. That character, that type of character, is a Hal Jordan type of character, right? So, like, I don't see Superman and Wonder Woman and that kind of behavior lining up, you know. Whereas, like, most of the Lanterns would be like, you got to do what you got to do. In fact, I don't see Kyle as one of the Lanterns who would do it. Guy, definitely, I got to do something dirty. Guy would be there. I feel like
Kyle's kind of the most peaceful one out of all of them.
Yeah. I feel like Kyle's the most peaceful one of the bunch. I also feel like John, because, he's got the very engineering mind, John would also not jump for the kills,
Well, he's because John has his Marine background. He's seen violence and he understands the value of life away in which people without his background don't. Aaron Pierre, baby, let's go.
Right. Those two have a very separate ideal than the other two. That's what I'm saying. I think people get the wrong idea. Wonder Woman's been trained in all sorts of combat and shit, and she can do it if she absolutely has to. But like Superman, I feel like it's if they absolutely have to. And even then, the whole thing with Maxwell Lord, she could have just gone up to the satellite and gotten a freaking Phantom Zone projector and be like, boom.
Let's be fair. Superman don't just come off with them Phantom Zone projectors. He kind of holds them tight.
There was one on the Watchtower at said time. And then, of course, Superboy Prime blew it up.
And the brother eye satellite. I mean, that isn't something that you can just easily go like, oh, let me go shut down this satellite. That's kind of the whole point of it. Like, it's not that simple.
Yeah, that's another point why you can't mix in the Matt Reeves Batman, because they can't all of a sudden have a watchtower in the Matt Reeves Batman out of nowhere. He's only in like year 3. This Batman's got to be a little more older, a little more seasoned.
Well, they said they're introducing him with Damian, right?
Right. So that means he's been around for a while now. So I'm thinking it's gonna. You got to go get Jensen Ackles for this. I think.
You're channeling your inner Dave.
He could just treat Superman like Sam treated Dean. It would be perfect. It would be seamless.
Man, if they got Jensen Ackles, you would just be on cloud. You'll be on cloud 9.
Oh, it'd be so great. He's already the voice. I mean, just hire him. It would be perfect. The way he would treat Superman like like kind of a little brother. It would work.
This universe needs a real Batman. Yeah, dude, I love what they're doing with the epic crime saga stuff. They definitely are going to have to put in some work to make sure the normies, as we've dubbed them this show, can really spot the difference from a mile away. You don't want a lot of people going into a movie and feeling hoodwinked. We don't have a Batman yet, but yeah, dude, it's storming like crazy over here. I think I'm about to give it a wrap. This has been fun. I appreciate y'all having any final thoughts y'all want to hit on.
See it as many times as you can in the theater.
I mean, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. I listen. I've told people over and over, this is not about being a perfect movie. It's about that for me, it was a perfect Superman film. I got the Superman I wanted. I got the Lois I've always wanted. I'm positive we've never gotten Lois like this before. And I liked I was very happy with all the bells and the whistles. And Superman's like all mopey and depressed. She goes, "Were you trying to help them with that thing?" Oh, that's just a 5th dimensional imp. They don't need me. Like,
I love the citizens' reactions. Like, this just happens every week. This is Tuesday.
Bro, think of the amount of time, effort, and energy everyone, myself included, spent on dissecting that picture with that thing in it.
It was a joke. The whole thing was a joke.
but not only was that thing a joke, that scene was like one of the most emotionally impactful moments of the movie as well.
Yes.
For the foreground, dude, when she goes, "You've got a dog," not really, it's kind of a foster situation.
Right.
I'm gonna go turn myself in, but like, yeah, but they'll probably take me to where they're hiding crypto, and it's like you're worried about the dog, right? And he's not even a really good dog.
But
then he said because he's out there and he's afraid. He's alone and he's afraid.
Right, he's alone and he's afraid. Mark, I thought of you because that was straight out of Up and Away.
TK, baby.
I felt like that.
The Earth was in danger, and that one little girl was out there. Like, you're gonna leave for that one little girl, yeah, because I'm sure she's scared and she's counting on me.
Yeah,
right. I got goosebumps. I love Up and Away.
Dude,
like the same aspect that All-Star Superman is like a study of the history of Superman. How each issue kind of touches on a different character, a different aspect of Superman. Up and Away does that exact same thing and takes iconic moments like the Muhammad Ali fight, the Flash race, all these things, all while he's going through this cosmic journey to save just one character. And dude, you want to know the absolute best interaction between Pa Kent and Clark in all of Superman history is the beginning of Up and Away, because this little girl, I don't know if y'all read it, it's like 6 issues, but it's in it. Andy Kubert does the art on it.
Yeah.
So it's beautifully drawn, but this girl gets kidnapped, and they know she's out in space somewhere, and there's this world-ending threat coming to Earth. So Superman's split, like, what am I supposed to do? And he goes and talks to his dad, and in true fashion, his dad doesn't tell him what to do. Like, Clark explains the situation. He's like, "That sounds awful," and she's probably up there all alone, and his dad's like, "Yep." She's probably just counting on me. He's like, "Yeah, probably." And he's just doing that the whole time. And then you turn the page and you see like a park at like Central Park and just kids playing, which is just super powerful because they're playing, having a happy day, but she ain't there, and you just have that whole scene. You see Superman walking up and like it's just getting closer, and he gets around him, just looks at him, he just looks up, and then just boom, gone. Like you're like, damn. Like the way it was presented, the way it was set up, just that's how you started. That's how you do
one of the best stories.
One.
One of the best Superman stories. They put him in Walmarts. They were in those Superman giants in Walmarts.
Yeah, you got to check it out. It is absolutely amazing. But dude, that story got me in my feels big time. And Earth was in a rough way while he was gone too.
Mm-hmm.
They had a whole Justice League to handle stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's the same thing here too. Like it wasn't even set. Like it was so cool that the Justice Gang is inspired to take Superman's place in that invasion, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the beautiful thing. We get Superman's giving us hope. Superman's giving us inspiration in this movie. Like they go there, you know, freaking Guy Gardner puts the freaking box around the kid. He's like, "Hey, Superman couldn't make it, but you got an upgrade." You know, I mean,
yeah, that was a big moment where the kid raised the flag, because it's not even Superman that was inspiring them. It was a human, you know, calling for Superman, and they all of a sudden saw why that's why he is the way he is, because he's kind of annoying, like a Boy Scout, like he's trying not to kill the kaiju, like they're just making their work harder. But then they got it. It's like they all got it in that moment. Like, oh, that's why he's so important.
Oh my God. The moment where he's going back and forth with Lois, and she's like, right, but you just went in there. And he goes, I was only representing myself. People were going to die. And I'm like, this is Superman.
You know what is nobody gave two shits when that exact same scenario played out in Superman and Lois. You watched that show, Jay. You remember he went and moved an entire nuclear submarine to get it out of a de-escalation area. And no one watched that show and thought, oh, that's too political. Like, that's just what he does. That's like very par for the Superman stuff.
Gets involved if he sees people are going to get hurt. Doesn't matter what country they're from. He's going to get involved.
Listen, I am sorry that I am team that y'all, I don't know what comic books y'all were reading, that things aren't political. Comics have always been a type of
when people say it's political, they're not meaning that there are not politics present in comics. They're meaning that they're hitting you over the face with real world politics versus representing politics.
This movie did not do.
No.
If that's what you want to say, people of the interwebs.
When writing is overly heavy-handed and it places itself in a timeline versus just being like, this is our world's version of these events that are not your world's version. If there's going to be similarities because it's a fucking story, but I'm not trying to directly represent this specific thing happening right now.
It wasn't a direct. The conflicts weren't a direct representation of everything, but it was a mashup. I think there was mashing up a bunch of things together.
You also got to look at when this was written too. When James Gunn started writing this, and even when he finished it, what's happening now in the world is not exactly what was happening then. There's more happening now than was happening then, even. But the concepts are there. Like this kind of fighting, this kind of battles, it's unfortunate and should never ever have to get to this if at all possible. And someone like Superman would do everything he can to save everybody involved. Whether you're right or wrong, he's trying to protect you both because the value of human life means that much to him. It's unfortunate.
And I love how he still tried to give everyone a chance. Like, even no matter how many times someone tries to kill him, he's like, come on, like, can't you?
Ultraman
this is a different way to be. It's not too late for you. Yeah, the engineer.
He's telling her, please, we can stop this and we can stop Lex.
And 2 seconds after that, he's got her by the arm and he's spinning around like a corkscrew, beating her on the ground. And
he gave her a chance.
Well, no,
he gave her a chance. He said
Ultraman Ultraman fucked that up, and then she chose to join right back up with Ultraman, and then that's when he turned her into a human cartwheeling, blade saw.
That was awesome, dude.
She tried to choke him out.
The physics of the fight scenes were really cool. Like it was definitely this movie's version of Superman moving and fighting, especially like when he turned up on Ultraman at the end, and like just the motion, the way he grabbed, a lot of spinning, which if you had the ability of flight, you would be taking advantage of 360 degrees. and he was leaning into it. It was
No,
really
it's definitely the best flying and fighting choreography I've ever seen.
Oh
with Superman
my
live
God.
action.
Wait, you want to talk about moments that were just like, that just were beautiful? When he rescues the woman on the bridge who's just trying to get her car started to move, and everything collapses.
Oh yeah, that was a great shot.
She's driving for her life.
Yeah.
The car is shaking. By the way,
Great shot.
Max, that scene just makes you fucking shaking your chair. And she's looking through the rear view, and he is emerging from the rubble into the sun.
That was an awesome shot.
Beautiful. And that you know, that mixed reverb, John Williams.
I think that was a brilliant. I know some people were like, "Oh, there's not an original score to this." Dude, sometimes something is too good.
Song, man.
Something is too good. You like.
That's it.
You have John Williams, dude. Hans Zimmer, even with what he did, but you're not. You're not.
I liked Hans Zimmer. I liked what he did.
Everyone
does.
Good.
I thought it was good. Not everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah, and in some ways, that music is the same way. It's what causes people to recognize Superman, and so it's the same way. You know, like if you're going to do a remake of Chariots of Fire, you're probably going to use Vangelis's music at some point.
Well,
right?
look at Top Gun Maverick. They opened with Danger Zone. They don't give a shit. 80s music right away, and they're like, "This
flawless
is
movie, baby. Flawless,
and it's a great movie." So you got to stick. Some things are just that's it. That's the song for Superman. That's his theme. You got to stick with it. You can kind of modernize it a little bit, but you got to have the essence of it.
They laid that electric guitar down with it. It sounded great. The font to the title cards and everything, the way the words came in, except instead of it being blue, it was red. I'm like, dude, this is this.
It was a great homage to all that stuff. Yeah, I'm hoping that young people that saw it like got that same awness that we got when we saw the movie in the theater, or maybe you guys didn't, but I'm an old fuck, so I saw the movie in the theaters.
Dude, I still remember seeing the way that Batman Forever and Batman and Robin both came in. They had their own version where the words kind of come in 3D block. They pause for a second, then they move out, and the characters' names were a color that were slightly associated with the character that they were playing, kind of thing. Like Batman was in blue, Chris O'Donnell was in, I think, in like red. Jim Carrey was in green, Two-Face was in pink. I'm like, this is so cool. My little kid brain's connecting all these dots and getting all this color association with names and stuff.
Yeah, Batman Forever was like the first. It's kind of, this movie's kind of an extension of Batman Forever in the tone that it took, because that Batman movie. Just tone-wise. The tone, no, I mean, it's not even close, but the tone-wise, like that was a very comic booky Batman movie. And this is kind of the very comic booky Superman movie.
Yeah, they just kind of blew up the stadium, right? Yeah. I am Gotham's Reckoning. But yeah, I appreciate you guys hopping on. Final thoughts here. What do y'all think this is going to end at the box office? Not domestic, worldwide. Where does this movie end?
I think it gets to 700. I think it gets there.
Maybe for it to get to 700.
I think it might get there. I don't think it goes to $1 billion.
By the way, I read that for them to break even, they really only need to hit 450.
No, God no.
Well, you don't know.
Because apparently the budget.
You don't know.
We do know because the studio came out. The studio came out talking about it.
I've seen him argue this on his podcast.
I don't trust anybody with fucking money. I don't trust. All I trust to do is lie and lie some more. Okay, look at that shit they pulled with fucking Robert Kirkman, Walking Dead. Yeah. Robert Kirkman. Look at that bullshit. Where A&E is like, we're not making a profit off of this incredibly fucking profitable series. The production, all the production costs were other parts of fucking A&E. A&E was paying themselves for the show that was too much and all that shit. I don't trust any of them. They're all full of shit, you know?
That's right.
All of them is greed is good. They're all fucking Michael Douglas, straight up the first and the shittier second Wall Street movie. So I don't
That's why Bob Chapek doesn't have a job at Disney anymore.
And he thought he wasn't going to pay James Gunn.
Holding back, man. Just come on, tell us how you feel.
I'm on a roll. By the way, Jay, you know you got to come on my show sometime. We got to do
anytime. I don't just bar. I'm not the Kool-Aid man. You got to invite me.
Yeah,
he doesn't invite people. I've had him on my show like 12 times. And he's never invited me.
Okay, literally, I invited you, and then you told me some shit about your availability, and I was like, but I need you to be available on a Saturday.
I'm available every Saturday. You've never invited me, and I've never said no.
Hey,
Oh
Paul,
my
he's,
God.
Don't give me that.
he's invited me and then stood me up. So that
That
puts
was
you,
one time, Mark, and now
It's
you've
all-
turned it
it's
into an
all-
entire event. Anyhow,
all
As
right.
I
Hey,
believe what
fuck
happened
boy.
was when I mentioned it, you said to me, "I don't invite people. People ask me to be on my show."
I never said
Oh,
that.
diva.
I never said those
That's a
words.
diva. Diva move.
I said people ask me and I respond. I do go through droughts like anybody. So anyhow, I will work it out. My next scheduled guest is Dan Dilator. I'm very excited. And
Do you know what I think is going to happen with this movie? I think it's going to have unusual legs.
Yeah,
I think it's going to have
maybe.
this. I think it's going to have this big opening, which it's already done.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have a successful second weekend because the word of mouth on this movie is higher
Got a
than
ton of
average.
replay value too. I
Like
mean, you
well,
can just
the second viewing is we're already seeing that happen amongst the comic nerds, and I think some normies will be talking about it, end up going back with some friends and stuff. Like the biggest success any movie can have is when people start talking about it, when they go back to work and say, I watched this, it was good. You can see all the trailers in the world, see all the critic reviews in the world, but when you sit down next to your friend at work or you go to church, and
it's
someone
going to
says,
trickle down to the people who had no intention of going in the first.
this was awesome. It's summertime, kids are out of school, and they tell them like you can take the whole family kind of thing.
Right.
And despite Jurassic World being out, How to Train Your Dragon, I think that this is already going to overshadow those things.
Yeah.
And where the marketing comes in, it literally overshadows it, like physically in spaces and stuff. I think it's going to end up having weird legs. You remember how Top Gun Maverick just didn't stop? It wasn't doing tens and tens of billions of dollars every weekend. It just didn't stop. Avatar.
I think it got the people who were like, "Oh, that was good. I should see that," and then like they go see it because they didn't really think anything of it.
I think this is going to be that. I think there's a crazy wave of people that have been hung, despite y'all's blind defense of this current state of the MCU. There is an overwhelming amount of people that used to love that shit, eat it up, and they are done with it, and they want something to take its place. And I think a lot of them are going to go see this. A lot of the people that were hesitant because the trailers made them nervous or the campiness or the amount of characters, and now they're hearing it was handled well. They did good. This is Superman. And I think it's just going to win people over. I see this movie doing more than
like if anyone's not like a big comic book fan, but they enjoyed the Guardians movies, they're going to love this movie. If they like those Guardian movies, they will absolutely love Superman.
I'm going to actually go with 650 million, because, and the reason being, and I think this is going to be one of the few movies that does more domestic than it does internationally, because I think geopolitically
China,
right now, China it is bombing in China right now, and
it did 7 million in China, which they said was the most successful release they had since Aquaman. Which is crazy to think how I thought their market was massive. That sounds like
their market is massive, but they started making their own superhero films.
Yeah.
That's right. They had that $1 billion movie earlier this year, right?
Yes, they did. So
it's more than $2 billion now.
Yeah,
Xena, whatever it's called, Xena 2. It's kind of come out in the. It's kind of the.
It's
the
coming
English
to the
version is
US.
coming out this summer.
Yeah. So
I think just geopolitically,
they know how to take care of their own.
Because they still say Superman in America, and I think geopolitically that's going to keep some people away. I think.
Yeah.
Now, Superman statistically is quite popular in China, so I will be interested to see if the movie manages to push forward and succeed there.
Yeah, I just hope it's successful enough that it already is, but just the success of it so that they can continue with this universe and do all these things, because I'm so like excited now for the Lantern show. Like I was already excited for it, but now I'm like more hyped for it because I love the shared universe thing. I just think that's fantastic when it's done and they care about the fans, because now I'm going to watch the Green Lantern show. Like, oh, I already know like all this went on with Superman and that's all happening in this universe too. It's just like a background thought that I love having when watching these types of shows, is all the other stuff that's been going on.
Just out of curiosity, growing up with comic movies, did you have that forethought when the opening scene of Batman Forever, when No, it was Batman and Robin when he looks at Robin and says, "This is why Superman works alone." Did your mind automatically catalog the Christopher Reeve movies like right then and there? Because mine did. I'm like, all
that
those
was all
movies.
there was. Yeah. of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
That's all there
Like,
was.
well, I just want to point out to that point, that's the interconnectivity I would want to see out of this DCU for a while. They need to steer
Just
clear.
mentions.
They need to steer clear of trying to hinge plots from one movie to the next, this and that. All they need to do is make sure that your story doesn't contradict any event that happened over there and do nothing else. You need your Green Lantern show needs to service your Green Lantern show and not have fuck all to do with anything else before or after that show for now. Just like this Superman movie required no viewing ahead and it doesn't set up or tee up anything else. If no Green Lantern show ever happens, Guy Gardner's story is unfazed by it. If no Supergirl movie ever happens, Supergirl's appearance was just a beautiful Easter egg and doesn't hurt or help.
I think this is James Gunn's style. I mean, that's what he's showing us. Like this is
that's
how
what
I do things. Yeah.
They need to make sure they don't, because the MCU, God love it, was so much better at times and not as good at times. And one of the things that's been detrimental to it is the interconnectivity has harmed it massively. Like the amount
they've done so much of it, they didn't. There's a lot of loose ends out there, and
that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of loose ends. There's a lot of context that gets lost.
But I still rather have it than not,
because a show is so contingent on having seen this and that when they could have wrote the show on its own where nothing else matters, and it would have probably been better. Like you're not contradicting any of your other stuff, and it exists in that world. But there's no reason for these things to not stand on their own merits. That was a beautiful experiment we did. We now know where the line in the sand is drawn, what's too much and what's not enough. They need to pay attention to that line and tread carefully because it's interconnected stuff. People are done with it. People are done. They want it to be connected, but they're not trying to have to work for entertainment. That you lose the entertainment when you do that. So there's a fine line, and they make enough money that they can figure it out. Like we shouldn't have to tell them where it is. And they can go too far real easy with that stuff and just get lost in the sauce.
You do have to be careful with it, yeah. But I think they can walk and chew gum. I think they can do it. I think
people
they have a good. I think they have a good idea of how this is all going to go down. I think there's still going to be a lot of interconnectivity, but yeah, you don't make it rely on it.
Yes,
yeah,
especially this early on. You know what I mean? Like the early MCU stuff. Yeah. All that you get a little teaser in it.
It was basically a teaser, right?
They were all just standalone films. You knew they were in the same universe. Right. You know, like the trucks rolled up in the Incredible Hulk, and you knew from the opening credit with the blueprints that those are Stark Tech. You just knew it was Stark Tech.
Well, the mentions are fantastic. Like I just want to hear two Green Lanterns talk about Superman, or maybe talk shit talking about him, or something they don't like, or whatever. Something just a mention. Yeah, right. I love that. Yeah. That's the best stuff. Yeah. Love that stuff.
I'm for that. Definitely for that.
By the way, I'm not sure Marvel fans got really pissed off about, like, I think right here from Billy's list, no solid plan would be number one.
Yeah, that's number one. That's actually number 1, 2, and 3.
It is number 1, 2, and 3. The no solid plan was not the way to go. And they should have known from Star Wars. The no solid plan there fuck those 3 movies up real good, But whatever. I don't even understand.
Kevin added today's grossing 217 million will change more. It'll change more, but that's like Paul said, that's projected through today. Might change slightly, but they're pretty on about those. Story straight one. I'm unpacking that. It will be hard. We've unpacked that 1,000 times. Taylor's having a conversation with someone in the chat. He doesn't need my help. It will be higher tomorrow. I think it might be because they project those Sunday numbers, but the movie is overperforming the projection, so it definitely could go up. But if it does, it's not going to be by an astronomical amount.
122 domestic, making it the highest opening for a Superman film is good to me.
Yeah. Still couldn't beat Jurassic World. You never bet against dinosaurs. Told y'all that.
Listen, and it didn't beat Batman v Superman. That was 100.
I tell people all the time that movie was a financial juggernaut. And if you adjust BVS for inflation today, it's a $1 billion plus movie. It's like $1.2 billion movie if in today's market. And BVS was huge. Huge letdown for a lot of people too.
There are parts of that movie I love, but there are parts of that movie I can't take some of them. But the Batman moments in those movies are still probably the best.
Dude, remember when when we first saw him, when the cops go in that house and they're like going to get those women that were clearly being trafficked, and they go to take him out of that cell, and they grab the doors and close themselves back in it, and they just look up and he's just in the corner.
I thought that looked a little stupid, actually, when he was up in the corner like that. I didn't really.
That was awesome.
You thought that was good? I didn't like that.
With shadow.
Yeah. I liked
him
fighting all those guys in the warehouse later. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was the first time we ever saw Batman move and fight properly like a comic book.
Yeah, it really did. Really did. Yeah, that was really, really well done. Yeah, there's still, I mean, if it's on when it's like I'm scrolling around and I see it, like I watch it. Yeah, I watch even the ones I don't like because
that's kind of like me, a little bit different. When it's not on, I'll actively turn it on and watch it. Kind of the same.
I was like, I don't know who he's talking about creepy ass Batman, because the creepiest fucker in that movie is Lex Luthor.
Yeah, that I hate that. I hate Jesse Eisenberg's version. I mean, I love him as an actor. He's
I love him as an actor. I just feel like he was given.
It was a poor choice.
Everything was wrong here. You know, I thought his 5 seconds in Justice League was actually pretty solid.
He was a little more calm. He was a little more reserved and put together there. He was just the Looney Tunes in that movie. It came off as more Joker than Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was just too weird. Even though
Jesse Eisenberg kind of plays Jesse Eisenberg. He had that like it's almost like he's slightly manic, like in every role he plays, you know.
Yeah, but this was ridiculous.
Dude, I watched the Snyder Cut yesterday, I think. And you know, at the end of the Snyder Cut, like Lex is out of jail, he's bald-headed, he's in a suit, he's on a yacht, he's talking to Deathstroke. Eisenberg wasn't having those step over my own words in my sentence moments. He was sitting there. He was like confident. He was very like composed. He was very direct with his words. Like if he played Lex like this through the rest of it,
would have been much better.
No one would have had a problem with him. Like you look like Lex. You sound like Lex. You've got like that slight anger in your eye, in your brows. You know, No,
I don't doubt his ability. He could have done it. He just chose that way, and it just didn't work.
Didn't work.
I feel like they pushed that. For whatever reason, I also feel like we were gonna get the tone down Lex because Darkseid would now be out of his brain, right?
Well, dude, also I think like they were able to look at the reaction right to BVS and say, okay, we can course correct this the next time we see Lex, and that's what they did. You had Lex, and now he's been beat by Superman, his head shaved, he's been in jail he's out. Now you have like Lex, but I don't know. I liked it. I think he was the worst.
One thing we didn't see in this movie, we did, and tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think we ever saw Clark Kent turn into Superman.
Oh shit! I didn't think about that. We never got a chest.
There was never a chest thing. There was never a spin real fast, turn into. There was never a change sequence, right?
Nope.
Because I always wonder, how the hell does he hide the boots? How does he hide his? You can't put shoes over boots. How does he have the boots all the time?
I'll go get your boots.
I cleaned them.
Do you know that accent that they use?
Speed does a lot of work.
His parents, that accent that they're using is from Richard Christie's parents from the Howard Stern show. Have you heard that? What an incredible story that is. That he used their parents to model them both.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Steve said it earlier in the chat. He's from Kansas. He said a lot of the folks that he spoke to in his area, offended's not the right word, but they felt that they represented those Kansas farmers a little too cartoonish. Like when his mom said, you might want to come see what's on the box. And then you walk in and look at her beautiful flat screen television.
Except that those people literally exist in real life, because the people they base them on, you hear them all the time on Howard Stern show. They come on, they talk exactly like that. That's their exact accent. And they do say things like that. So those are real people.
Because you got to think, like in 2025, if you just rewind them to being kids, like, like there are TV boxes, but they hadn't had TV boxes in 3 decades like the rest of us.
Right. Well, the age is moved up. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a problem, right, with some of the dialect, because the guy whose parents they're based on would use that. They were from that era.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about.
But it didn't come off like that to me. I don't care like how far in the future we get. I want them to be country bumpkin farmers because that's who they are. They don't strive to have it. That flat screen, I'm sure, like when I saw that, I'm like, the only reason they have that is because Clark brought it to them. They didn't go out and buy that.
Probably not. That's a lot of parents and sons and stuff like that always trying to update their parents to the new stuff.
Yeah, Billy's got a good point. Well, a lot of people can say that could be my parents or that could be my grandparents.
Right.
And then when you get on the rural area, like you're a little bit behind the times on stuff like that anyways.
They also represented what a farm, I think, more modern farm looks like than like the traditional ones we see in television shows, and where they're all big and they have all this stuff. It's just a little, small dwelling.
Yeah, they were middle class as fuck. Yeah. I mean, they had the old school 720p flat screen. Like that wasn't some
Vizio had to be a Vizio.
That was like a Vizio or something. It wasn't even a brand new. You could get a new Vizio 55 inches for $328 at Walmart. They didn't even have that shit. They ain't even scraping the pennies together. But they're like, no, this 720p
probably Lord Tech.
Time,
It was a Lord Tech TV. The laptops that they were using in the movie, the employees of the Daily Planet, all the laptops were Lord Tech laptops. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Yeah, but the same logo that was on the Justice Gang is on the front of all the laptops in the movie, where you would see HP. So they got around having to pay for licensing or buying sponsorships. They just put Lord Tech on everything.
No, it's a good move. And then there was something that had let Luther Corp on. I don't know what it was, a piece of electronic that had his name on it too, but I can't remember.
There you go. The voice recorder was Lord Tech too. That's cool.
The voice recorder was Lord Tech.
No, they did a great job by placing Lord Tech everywhere. I don't know if we're ever going to see Supervillain Maxwell Lord. I hope we don't, honestly, because I really appreciate this rendition.
There's dinosaurs going down in the other room.
What?
All right. Once again, then we're gonna wrap it up with that. I appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out for this vacation edition.
Nice.
That week's in. This is like 5 years straight hitting the vacation edition of this. And that means this Wednesday will be the second annual vacation edition of Guess That Key. 9 o'clock, Sector 2815's channel.
Yes, we have Chanko's Comics and Nerd Culture and the Comic Vet. We're giving away a Summer of Superman prize package.
Oh, yeah, the Superman prize pack is insane. Bunch of comics, McFarlane action figure, and a cool twist. If y'all don't know, day after tomorrow, I'll be meeting up with Paul in person for our annual comic crawl, where we get together once a year and we go hit all the shops in Florida. And I wonder if you will too, but potentially picking up, we'll be hunting for our Guess That Key items in person during our comic crawl, which I tend to try to film a little bit of, and I'll end up posting a video and all that good stuff. So be on the lookout for that. They're always fun. Jay, when's y'all's next episode? Are y'all on hiatus?
A little bit, yeah. I got trying to get some stuff done at work, and just a lot of stuff going on.
Have you thought about just quitting your job?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Free up a lot of time that way.
That would be excellent. Yeah, a lot of time would be opened up. But
do you know what I would give to just do this all day?
Yeah, it'd be so great, right?
Like today, I had a moment to actually make my list of some of my picks for this week and post it on Instagram, and I felt like $1 million that I had that time to do that, And I was like, shit, why can't I get paid for this? But no, I got to worry about humans, their needs,
stuff.
and my sovereign overlord to have to scrutinize everything that I do. When I just want to make sure that people are eating right and have a roof over their head so they can get to work.
Right. Exactly.
We'll
be back in a few weeks with new episodes.
I can't help but defend Snyder's stuff. This is such an accurate statement. It doesn't mean that he's pulling from your favorite stuff. And I go through it, and what Snyder did was pulled from a small sliver of actual comic book lore and dove into it. Whereas this new Superman addresses the actual.
I don't get why people can't just like both. Like, why can't you like both?
That's what I'm saying. Snyder literally.
Why is there this binary choice to these things?
Snyder literally adapted like the Frank Miller take on Superman. And I point this out. Here's the downside with that, though. While people may like that, until you become a real DC mythology fan and you start reading interviews of creators, you wouldn't realize that Frank Miller made Superman the way he did because he fucking hated Superman at the time that he wrote him. So he made him that overbearing, everyone
Agent
looks
of
at him
government.
so like that's kind of a double-edged sword. You might like this take on Superman, but the guy that envisioned this take did this because he didn't like Superman. So it's weird, but it is a legit comic book accurate. It's just
I don't get it. Like I guess they're just angry because their version ended and something new came along, so they're angry that their version didn't.
Billy likes both of them. Like he's been in here campaigning. Everything. A lot of people have been campaigning for both.
I mean, the reason why it ended is because it didn't get enough consumer value. It had to end.
Yeah. Despite being a financial juggernaut, it was across the board panned by people who saw it, putting Warner Brothers in this weird place of existence. Like, well, we made money, but I'm sure we can't do it again. So what do we do?
Right.
Yeah,
it was weird. Yeah, because those movies made money. Aquaman made a ton of money. Aquaman made $1 billion.
Dude, I will defend that movie till the day I die. It's one of my favorite.
I like both of them.
It's one of my favorite DC characters, one of my favorite superhero movies ever. But I'm not delusional, and I will tell y'all, most people thought they were seeing an MCU movie at that time. I guarantee it. But the word of mouth was great on it, and it kept people coming back. But that was at the absolute peak of MCU. We don't have to make a good movie. We just have to make a movie, and we will make $1 billion era, which was a real thing for a small time. Aquaman was perfectly timed, and it was a great movie. It was just all around fun, action-packed. It was like Indiana Jones with a superhero. We're globe-trotting. We got a lost history aspect to it. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I watch it every time that's on. I usually stop. If I see Aquaman on, I don't flip past it.
And I enjoyed the second one. It was like a traditional sequel where we took all the fun stuff from the first one, and then we just kind of hit it with adrenaline, and then we shrink the runtime.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was. I had fun with that one too.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. All right. We're out of here. Appreciate everybody. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that join button, become a channel member. And until next time, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.
More blood. Go get it.